doesn't it?
All right. Well, yeah, I know. I gotta change that intro. It's a little outdated with Katia's Kickstarter gone, finished now, and
the Rangers.
Something happening with the Rangers. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
So it hurts more now.
Yeah. I like how at Origins, some of my friends were like seeking me out to make sure I was okay.
Yeah, they said, "Did we need to do a wellness check?"
That's funny.
Yeah.
So this is full 42. Welcome. If this is your first time, we're just a bunch of geeks talking about board games and geeky stuff, right?
Yeah.
Buddy.
Oh,
Hey.
hey. Don't have your game night tonight, huh, Kubiki Kid? So it's going to be a fairly short one, I think, because we've got tonight we're going to talk about your Origins trips. Both of you went to Origins. Tell us what you did there and stuff. And after that, we're going to talk about Obi Wan Kenobi, the episodes 1 through 4, and we'll let you know beforehand so we don't spoil anything.
Absolutely.
Hey, Stephen,
Andrew.
Howdy.
Stephen here.
Hey, Stephen. We saw Stephen at Origins. Yep.
Oh, great.
And I'm in person.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
He survived, I believe, if I remember correctly, Stephen, you survived mission control and you saved the boy, if I remember correctly, in Stuff of Legend. So congratulations to you on both of those.
Hey, Alan.
Here's Alan.
Yeah,
they get the brag about their convention trips. I didn't go to Origins, so.
No, but you said you're going to another one, though, soon, right?
I'm going to Gen Con soon, yeah. But I've never been to Origins.
Wait, you going to Gen Con?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, I didn't realize that. We're going to get to meet finally.
Yeah, all three of us are going to meet for the first time. You two have met, obviously, many times, but
that's so exciting.
I have never physically met either one of you. So
we were going to do a special, I think, from Gen Con somehow. We'll do like a Saturday night live stream or something.
We'll figure something out, yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Oh,
yeah, I also found out that I'm going to San Diego Comic-Con.
That's the one I was thinking of when I asked. And then you surprised me with the Gen Con thing. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's 2 weeks before Gen Con. So I'm going to be gone that week, come back for a week, and then go again. So I'll be a little ragged probably, but couldn't pass up Comic-Con. What was that?
Wait until yeah, and wait until after we've all hung out together. It'll be even worse.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. So I'm using a new tiki mug tonight.
But
it's short, so you can't see it on camera.
So we just see your straw.
What is it? Aww.
Oh, that's cute.
So I'm gonna do the whole show like this.
He has a little cookie.
He's so cute.
Yeah, he's the one eating it. Yeah, the other one is him just chilling.
Yeah, Kubiki Kid says, talking about your beard. I was saying the same thing.
It is. So I'm a hockey fan, and playoffs come, and I very rarely will shave it. But this weekend was not good, so next week probably won't have as full of a beard.
You should keep it for Obi-Wan. For as long as Obi-Wan is going. It's the Obi-Wan beard now.
Okay, I could do that.
I'm trying to put a positive spin on it for you.
I like it. Okay, maybe I'll do
that. So luckily that didn't get. Well, I won't go into spoilers until we get to that part of the show.
No spoilers.
Yeah, because if you haven't seen the Obi-Wan up to episode 4 yet, we'll talk about that later. But we'll let you know before we spoil anything. We've got lots of beards being grown. It's too hot for beards. It's like 110 degrees here in Texas.
That's hot.
It's miserable. Yeah. You can't go outside.
Yeah.
You just live in air conditioning. Ugh.
Good. I know. I have to. Yeah. It's miserable. And it still gets pretty hot, so. Yep. So tell us about Origins. Tell me what I don't know about Origins since I've never been there.
Well, they're it's smaller than Gen Con, so it's like This year felt small. It like there was a lot of room in the aisles when you were walking around. I found like at no point did I ever feel like it was crowded. So I don't know if people just spread it out more and didn't come for the full 4 days. But like Thursday felt just as busy as the Sunday. Like it was just kind of, I don't know, like it was just a bit more flatline than like normally you would see a big peak on the Saturday, Sunday, but it just felt kind of more spread out.
So Origins is kind of like a exhibitor's show, right? It's all about the booths and stuff like that. You don't play a lot of games, or
no? It's got all the things. It's got the demos. It's got the events. It's got all that stuff. It doesn't have true dungeon as far as I know, but it has this. You'd love it. It has this like Star Trek-esque bridge escape thing. So everyone has a different role on the bridge, and there's a thing, and you have to work together to get out of there. But it's got the demos, it's got the events, it's got the exhibit hall, it's got the late night stuff, it's got the socialization. It's just not Gen Con.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a game library too that people can use to borrow games, and yeah, it was just it just felt a lot smaller, but still fun. There weren't as many new releases this year. A lot of people that have their games on boats. Yeah. So we ended up instead benefiting from people putting their older titles on sale. So we were actually able to get some titles that were, discounted quite a bit. So that was nice. Like it was a little bit different than, when you go like at Gen Con and you see a new game, new release, and, you're going to pay full price for it. Whereas like these games were a little bit older. So a lot of them were offering discounts. So that was nice.
Did you?
There were some new ones. There were some like Cult of the Deep was available, and that was early. Cat in the Box was early. So they had some stuff that either they had airshipped in or had reached for an Origins release. But Origins is not really a new release type show. It's more of a preview type show.
But it used to be, wasn't it? I mean, before COVID, wasn't it like, I remember, because I've never gone to it, but I always remember people going, oh, Origins came out and here's all the stuff that's talked about, so that whenever I went to Gen Con, I'd be looking for that stuff that everybody's been talking about for a couple months.
Yeah, it's more of a this will be out at Gen Con type thing. There's always been, I remember like the first year I went, there were releases, the new release for the season or whatever it was debuting at Origins, but it's a fraction compared to what's released and new at Gen Con. Hopefully this year is not so dramatic with stuff being delayed and Gen Con hits. I know, there's stuff on our end that's going to be delayed, but I know everyone's trying and some things are way out of control. Look at Marvel United or X-Men United, and look at Massive Darkness, right? Some people get it, some people don't. But Origins was never, even from what I remember, it was never a big, there were a few like scattered Origins releases, right? But there's never, although Cat in the Box had a line, there's never that real like the rush through the exhibit hall to get the thing that's limited. I feel this year it was limited because of shipping delays. So there were things that people had air freighted in or had early, but they had them in limited quantities. So they were doing the whole, we only have this many, so we have to make sure we allot it per day. But there's never that Gen Con mad rush, doors open up and people are running to get to the thing and knocking people over with their board game giant backpacks. Like it's not
except for one game this year that people were rushing in to go and get, the Cat in the Box.
Oh yeah.
There was one title. Sure, yeah, altogether, yeah.
What is Cat in the Box?
It's good. It's Bezier.
I think it was the hot item this year.
Does it? Hold on, let me pull it. Make sure I'm looking at the right thing here. But is that it?
Yep.
What am I looking at? What is this?
It's a trick-taking game.
Why is this the hot game? It's a little box.
No, but look at there it is.
So it's a trick-taking game where you have a hand of cards with numbers on it, but none of the numbers have a suit. In this game, they're colors: red, green, blue, and yellow. It's when you play, you declare it a number, or I'm sorry, a color, and then you put your little token on the color on the grid. That's if you're ever out of a color, like you choose not to play blue, you just declare that you're out of blue, and you'll take your little chip off that blue side of that player board. But if you scroll up a little, if you play a card down and you're saying it's a yellow 7, you'll take your little chip and put it on yellow 7. So no one else can play a yellow 7 because there's only one in the deck. But those cards right underneath it are the cards in your hand. So it's when you're playing it, you're declaring that it's a color. And there's things that are going on. If you hit your target, you get extra points for connected stuff on the grid. You don't want to be the person to not be able to play a card because then you score a paradox and negative points could happen. It's a really interesting twist on trick taking where the cards don't have a color. You declare them when you play.
And yeah, like when you say, for example, you're out of the color blue, it basically means that this turn you want to play a different color than blue. But then the thing is, for the rest of the whole round, you're not going to be able to ever declare blue again. So it's like the paradox happens basically when you can't play a card anymore. So if you do that, you might actually box yourself out of playing a card. If the color that you wrote off ends up being really empty at the end, you might really end up, messing your plan. And,
is this a picture saying don't take pictures?
No,
it's saying do take a picture.
Oh, but don't touch. Okay,
gotcha. Yeah, but yeah, that was so they were releasing only 45 copies per day because it was flown in and they only had so many. So we were hearing about people basically like that was the first thing they would go and get, and it was selling it every day pretty quickly. And then they had like one of the symbols from the game printed in big on like a cardboard or something, and it was hidden in the vendor hall. And if you found it and brought it back to their booth, then you got a free copy of the game. So that was kind of cool.
Oh, that's a neat idea.
Yeah.
So we did the same thing with Troubles whenever we released it second time in 2017 at Gen Con. We had a certain amount, so we only had like 25 a day or 30. I don't remember how it's 40 a day or something like that. And we got complaints, obviously. You do anything that has any kind of limitations, you're going to get complaints either way. I was just curious, what do you think about that practice versus just have it for sale and then when you sell out, you're sold out?
I actually think it's better in a way, because if you're guaranteeing that, you're basically guaranteeing that there will be a certain amount available every day. So somebody who's coming in just on the weekend is going to have an opportunity to get some, versus when, like, there are people that sold out of some of their games on the Saturday. So then anybody who's coming later on the Saturday or Sunday, like, didn't even get a chance to pick one up. So I think it's a good idea. Sure, it'll create a rush in the morning, but it kind of gives everybody a chance to get their hands on a copy. So
the problem is people abuse their badges. They'll either, and it's unfortunate, but they'll either give their badge to somebody else to get in early, or they know somebody. So even though it's allocated for this situation, say there was 40, people would get there early or sneak in or whatever. And they did a really good thing, even though they allocated for a certain amount per day. They allocated 5 early. So they were only selling 5 prior to 10 o'clock for exhibitors, for people that were working booths or whatever, because it's kind of a challenge when you're either a demo helper or you run your own booth, because then the stuff that's released at 10, you can't get because you need to be at your booth, either setting up for the demo or setting up your tables or whatever. So it is kind of like, oh man, like it sucks. So I like what they did with that. Like they allocated a certain amount in the morning for prior to 10 o'clock sales, and then the rest were for after 10 o'clock, and people stood in line. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, because when I've worked at booths, like you're in there an hour before it opens up to everybody else, and you start walking around like, oh, what can I grab before I got to go to the booth and start working? And can't look at anything, and
Right.
and if you don't do that, then you miss out on everything, and that's not fair either. So
Right.
Mhm.
And then you get the people that are pissed off that, oh, you had an exhibitor badge, so you got to get the thing before it sold out. So there's no winning. I think what they did was a good. It was in good taste. It was in good faith to let a few out during the day or prior to 9. But you're never going to make everybody happy, right? There's never enough for everybody. Even if you're allocating 45, that 46th person is going to be real pissed.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
yeah, we had some people say, I mean, so the argument, that's why I did it for Troubles, is because I thought, oh, I can't sell out all on Thursday or Friday because people only coming on the weekend won't even get a chance. But then somebody was like, well, I'm only here Friday and you're out now. I won't be here Saturday and Sunday. And you have games back there that I want to buy.
Right.
I was like, that hurts too.
Yep.
There's just no winning. So
Yeah.
You do what's best. One for even we can get into it maybe in a couple weeks from now. We'll talk about a special guest, but the shipping thing, right? Like things are going to get delayed, and some stuff's out of your control. So you can't make everybody happy, but you are a company that's trying to make money. So you sacrifice some of the dollars to maybe get some stuff there early, so you can make sure there's hype about the game and get it on eyes and get it in people's hands. But does that mean sacrificing what potentially could be your business, or pissing off a couple people because they funded it for you and they didn't get their copy, but you're selling it? Like, you hear all the rumblings, and it's not a good feeling to see the game that you backed on a retail shelf, right? Like Dungeon Fighter's out right now, the new edition, but we backed it at the deluxe level. So our stuff is just, they're making sure, and they're taking their time to make sure that the shit is good, but the retail level of it is already out. So like, we helped you get there, but you're making sure that our stuff is going to be good. So it's like, you can't win, right? People are like, I see the Kickstarter emails and I'm just like, file it away and I'm good. Just get me my game. And then there's other people that just are like pecking at it. What do you do?
Yeah. And I think that's, like you said, perhaps some people don't realize that, like if you back at the deluxe, there's a lot more to it than if you back at the retail level. And then again, like something like Origins, when publishers make the decision of having something flown in, it's like, it's going to show up a lot quicker than, waiting for it to be on the boat. So it's the difference between them being able to sell anything at all or not anything at all, but the new game at the convention or not. So like backers, I can see how backers would get upset about that. But at the same time, it's like, if they flew everybody's copy, then you'd be complaining about the shipping price for the like. So it's like when they fly it in to sell at the convention, they're absorbing that cost, and it's not cheap. So, I mean, I think people have to be a little bit understanding. Alan, where's my calendar? Not printed yet. soon. But I'm glad you're excited. But
oh, good. You got backers hunting you down on the show
already. They're already bugging me.
Luckily, we already know Alan.
You opened up the pledge manager, right, for yours?
Yes, the pledge manager is open for those that missed out, or those who backed and we're waiting to add stuff. It's yes, I'm still play testing it. I'm developing actually at the moment. I have to adjust the layout with all the stretch goals that got added, like that people unlocked. It's going to require a little bit more work to do the layout this year, so I got to do that. But it's coming. It's coming.
Cool. I started working on a new game design this last week. And I think I've already decided that if I do make it all the way to Kickstarter with it, I'm not going to make a retail version. I'm just not going to even deal with that kind of thing. I'm just going to make the exact game I want. And that's the only version it'll be. And, make it simple. This is it. All kind of thing. And I wonder, because I know a lot of other creators have said, like, that's what they wish they could do. But they have to make the retailer version for the people that don't want to pay that much and all that stuff. But I'm starting to feel like with all these shipping issues and waiting for and it takes a great deal of work to make 2 different copies and then make sure that it gets picked and packed the right way and all that. And I'm just thinking, like, I don't know. I think eventually someone's going to start doing that to where they're just like, no, forget it. We're only doing this. We're going to go more simple with it. And if there is a retailer version, then it goes to retail. It doesn't get sold on Kickstarter kind of thing.
Look at Cascadia and Calico and Verdant, right? They did 1 edition. So through stretch goals, they made the version of Cascadia that you have, whether you backed it or you buy it in retail. It's got the wooden disc with the silk screen, and they just reached it. The community got it to be better. And what they offered for Kickstarter was a cheaper price, and they gave you a pack of cards. Or I forgot what Calico was, but like there's extra stuff for Kickstarter. It's not like the minis and the deluxeified coins and the lenticular cover or any of that stuff. It's like that's the edition you're going to get. And there are games that present themselves well for those deluxeified editions, right? Not everybody can spend $150 for the one with the minis and all the stuff, right? But they'll spend $80 for the cardboard standees or $60 for the cardboard standees and the $100 for the whatever, right? So there is a market for certain games that do that, but it can be a chore. Like I can't imagine some games being deluxeified for certain reasons that are just, I don't know.
Well, I think I came to this decision because, I work for Breaking Games and I am the person behind trying to get all the new development for dwellings for their new editions and all that stuff. And because they have standard edition, deluxe edition, and legendary edition, it's just such a huge hassle. I was like, I'm never going to do this on my own. Luckily with Breaking Games, we have tons of people to help with all the other stuff and all that. There's no way I would do that on my own. Like if I'm just doing my own Kickstarter or something. So yeah, it's a hassle.
I think it helps to go through it because then you're like, nope, never doing that again. Like that's it. Like we'll just do a couple things and then that's it. But like this edition, that edition, this edition with this thing, but this edition without this thing, but with that thing, and you're like, oh my god, forget it. Because then everything goes wrong. You're missing the thing. You're missing this thing. You added this thing instead of that thing. My thing doesn't have that thing, but I thought an extra thing. Like it's chaos. Unless you like chaos, it's sweet chaos.
And you never make everybody happy. There's always someone who says, "Hey, can you do a whole tier that has this and this and this?" And I'm like, I'm not going to create custom tiers for who contacts me and stuff like that. Yeah. So.
And Katia has run into it too, and I don't know if you want to talk about it, but like the calendar is the calendar, right? Like. When you think of the calendar, you start on the day. Right? Your calendar starts.
Yeah, I've had requests to start on a different day. So it's like I'm never gonna make 2 versions of the calendars with one starting on Sunday and one starting on Monday because anybody who understands how print runs work and cost knows that as soon as you split your print run, then it's no longer cost efficient if you can, like do them all the same way. And then same with like, I've had requests of people asking, oh, are you able to make it a small like desk calendar? That's a whole other thing on its own. Like there's no way I'm going to make 2 of those or as a stretch goal. I think it was actually asked as a stretch goal. And I was like, yeah, that's not cheap to just put that in.
You should do one for every day.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. I'm getting close to having enough mosaics that I could probably do one like a tearaway thing, but then again, we get into like waste of paper, and that's not something I'm willing to do. But yeah,
I have an idea for your next Kickstarter, and this is serious. I'm not joking. For a 365-day desk calendar. January 1st starts with 1 bit. Then January 2nd starts with 2 bits and then 3 bits. Yeah. And as you go through the year, the mosaic comes out.
That could be cool.
That's kind of neat. Cool. I like that. Yeah. That's a lot of pictures.
It's a lot.
You'd have to figure out something that takes 365 pieces, right?
Just 300. Depending on if it's a leap year, you might have to cut a wooden component in a quarter. But I
mean, like if I build out the mosaic that way, then people can do like the flipping thing where you can like see it grow.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah,
There you go. You're welcome.
like my sound effect.
Love it.
But yeah, I have a hard time getting behind the like tearaway calendars, just like the sheer amount of paper it requires. Like even I had been asked to do like the coil binding, and I won't even do that because I just picture like the 1,000 calendars that get sent out, and then at the end of the year, there's I mean, you can recycle your calendar, but then there's like 1,000 coil springs out there because of my calendar, and I couldn't even get past that. Like that's why I went with staples. But it's like, so I cringe inside at the idea of like the ripping of 365 sheets just for like the sake of it. Like I don't know. I'd have to think about that. But yeah.
Well, you could make it so it's just a small puzzle piece of one thing. So they'll have to tear off and put on their wall and build it as it goes.
Well,
that way they'll have one complete one at the end.
Post-it style where it's like, yeah.
It's like a legacy calendar.
It's a DIY calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I just take the pictures of the components by themselves and then you build it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh, yeah.
Make your mosaic 365.
You should make your calendar start on your birthday.
I think
January 1st.
I really think it should be that way. It's the most important day of the year.
You piss a lot of people off because our birthday's on a Sunday, not a Monday. So,
right.
That's true.
So yeah, no, there's definitely. I mean, like you say, you can't please everybody, but at the end of the day, it's like I think as long as you make decisions that you're able to sleep with and you're happy with, and
yeah,
that's all that matters.
We talked about it before, right? With Kickstarters, with games, with deluxe editions, non-deluxe editions, you're not going to make everybody happy.
Mm-hmm.
So you do what you like, what you're proud about having out there, and then people are going to have their comments. And like Chris has said early in our full 42 lives, I played your game and I know how to fix it. What? Shut up! Like, don't tell me that. So it's going to happen, and you just okay, yeah, thank you, I appreciate it, and then
yeah. Well, and it's even like I've had something too that's been suggested for mine is like, oh, could you add some holidays in there? Well, yeah, but which ones? Like, are we talking about? That's the thing is like, if I go worldwide because my calendar goes everywhere, like I'm never gonna get that done. Like it's just so much research. And then somebody said, oh, you should have all the like gaming conventions in there. And I thought that idea was cool, but then they keep getting moved around because of COVID. So that's true. I can't. And
just tell them it's interactive.
Yeah.
They can write the holidays in all they want.
It's a legacy calendar.
And the other thing too is that by the time I make my layout, I don't know the following year's cons. They haven't been released. So it's like, I can't. Right. Yeah, like it would be kind of neat, but at the same time, not really feasible. But people can dream.
Just make up your own holidays. You can be like, today is Chicken Soup.
Yeah, I could.
Just make it up. People make that stuff up anyway, right? Every now and then somebody will be like, it's Pancake Day. And I'm like, didn't they have that 2 weeks ago? Or maybe you just want pancakes today.
People like pancakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do moon phases. That's true.
Yeah, I like Steven's next one. His next comment.
I want mine to update with game release.
Yeah, put that in pen. That'll never change.
Right. Yeah. Maybe you should make that like a removable static stickers, so that can move around as people need it.
Oh, like those old color forms. Remember color forms?
Yeah.
There you go.
Wait, which color? What are color forms?
Oh, color forms are like there's a scene. It was like a dry erase. Think of a dry erase board with that kind of gloss on it.
Yeah.
And the color forms were removable plastic, like vinyl stickers that you'd put on and they would stay there. And you can make your scenes and then you can put them back on like their sticker sheet.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
After a little while, they'd get a little flimsy and stuff, but
Yeah, they'd stiffen up and then never stick again. But I had a Smurfs one that had the mushroom houses open. So you can like do your scene and have all the Smurfs all over the place. But then you could open the houses and then you could do all the Smurfs. Color forms are great. They still make
I remember
them.
I had some, but I don't remember what they were. Like I'm sure they were some IP, like Gremlins or something like that. But I don't remember what they were. I remember the act of putting stickers on. I don't remember what they were.
Oh, they had they had Transformers. They had everything. Thundercats.
Yeah.
Or I just do the calendar in Velcro, and then.
Yeah, really cut corners. Yeah, that'd be great.
There you go. You can put Festivus on there.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Festivus
Yeah, that would
for the rest of us.
I tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to Origins.
Yeah, none of that had anything to do with Origins.
It's okay. It's okay. Like full circle. There's a game that we saw there that was really, really cool, and it was at the Grand Gamers Guild booth. It was called Forgotten Depths. Do you have your copy with you?
I have it right over here.
Yeah. A really cool game. Apparently it was on Kickstarter and I had never heard of it, but when the guy explained it, I was like, oh, this is a cool. It almost reminded me of a mix of like dungeon crawl meets Call to Adventure. Like you're going into a dungeon, but there's some story.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Mike. There's some story development with it, and there's like as you go, you develop, you unfold the dungeon and stuff like that. But if you there are symbols on the cards that if you align them, if you're able to like make it work and align them, then you might uncover like a legendary room and stuff like that. And you have like weapons that you'll find and things like that. But it looked really, really cool.
All the cards are unique art.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. I'm sure Peter is watching, but
yeah, it's beautiful. The cover is beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, when I pulled it up, I was it almost kind of looks like the older D&D books, like the artwork and stuff. I like the look of it.
Wait. What are we doing?
I forgot you had control of that.
Yeah, I do. But it's not I guess so. Here's Arcane Academy. It's like a calico size box. I'm gonna put them both on the table. So that's Forgotten. Wow. Or Forgotten.
Yeah, it was big.
It's a big box.
So that's not going to fit upright in the Kallax. You got to put it sideways, right?
You put it on his back.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah.
No, not like that. Like, yeah, there you go, like that.
Yeah, but I don't know if it'll be too Forgotten Depths. I don't know if it'll be enough to fit deep wise either. Like it's a
too much
wide.
depth.
It might have too much depth. You might forget about it.
Some of those, like Detective City of Angels or Zaya, those kind of stick out from my
it's like my Burn Cycle copy. It sticks out by like this much.
Yeah. And so
I could have put it up here, but I didn't. Did you see what's right there?
Oh, that thing's gorgeous.
What is that?
Oh, hold on. It wouldn't be a show if we didn't get up. Give me a second.
By the way, Mike, I noticed that you got two troubles behind you. One of them's upside down, by the way. The mouth is upside down.
It will always be upside down with his ass on the bottom right here.
Oh, also, before I show you what it is, we went to, what was it called? The store. It's like a comic book and miniature type store. And I found this very cool Silver Surfer.
Yeah, that's cool.
I had to have it. But yeah, so the thing I bought, it's a dice tower.
What's he doing over there?
I don't know.
So it's
show and tell, Michael. Pay attention.
It's the troublemakers that you sent out for your Kickstarter, but it's 2 original copies of your Kraken Games Troubles.
Oh, wow.
One's still sealed, one's open. That's the one that I got from the original Kickstarter. This is the one I got from your second Kickstarter. And then this is the new one. And now in there is all the other stuff, like with another one of these. So technically,
You almost have as many as I do.
I have 4.
That is so much troubles.
That's a lot of trouble.
But yeah, check it out. So the base comes off. It's like, it's a 3D printed with, I'm assuming is what is like rainbow filament type thing. I don't know anything about 3D printing, but I have to glue the top though. And then, and then you put your dice in there. Do I even have some to?
And the dice come out different colors?
Yep.
Would that be awesome?
That would be.
They actually come out as infinity stones.
I seriously bought it for the purpose of displaying it because I thought it was so cool looking.
That is cool. What would you play that with?
I don't know, and it's not
great
like
game
I said, it's not even gonna get played like used to play for anything. But it's just I really wanted it.
Anything with dice.
And
Sure, but I mean, like, you know, what would it look good with? Basically, I
don't know. Like,
we don't have enough rainbow themed games.
No.
Now I kind of want to design a rainbow dice game of some kind.
What was that, Mike?
You can use Thanos Rising.
That's true.
Right, and then that could be like...
They need like a Thor Ragnarok's...
yeah.
Want to see what I bought? What else I bought?
Yes. Show and tell.
We bought way too much.
You
were
showing your Silver Surfer? I can one up your Silver Surfer.
Well, yeah, you bought I did show it. Yeah, the frog.
It's Throg.
Throg.
But look at Mjolnir.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mew Mew.
We were supposed to go back to that store and we didn't. I'm sure we could have found some other cool stuff. But I bought, that's my screen. I bought the Magnificent. That was on sale at the booth because they had like an online sale that they kind of carried to Origins. Then I got from Inside Up Games, Connor McGooey. City Builder. It is what it was described as, like a step up from Carcassonne, and I really like Carcassonne. And I don't have a copy of it anymore.
Is it really a step down from Carcassonne?
I'm not even going to answer that.
No, Connor makes amazing games. Every one of his are phenomenal.
Then somebody who is a bad influence told me to buy this.
Yeah. Yep. Bad influence for $10. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have dice? Because it looks like it could go with your dice tower.
No dice.
No, but it has little cute cupcakes. But it's actually going to be a gift for my niece.
I'm my own bad influence. I bought my 3rd copy of that game at Origins.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I have mine that's signed by Daryl and Adrian, and then I have the one for the library, and then one that I'll actually play with.
This, if anybody doesn't have this game, is amazing. It is so fun. It's a roll and write. Looks like this.
Yeah. When did that come out? Because Days of Wonder only has one game a year, right? And they made it a roll and write, which was surprising to me.
It says 2019 on here.
Okay. I thought it was. I thought it was later than that, but okay.
It's great. And
it uses the same mechanism. There's a bigger game called, and I'm going to botch it, and I apologize, but it's Yaspelon. It begins with a Y, and it does the same kind of mechanism with the dice and the selection and how you roll them and separate them out, and then you can choose from whatever. It's beautiful roll and write, really easy to learn, and it's a good port over from the base game or the main game.
Yeah, it's really good. Then I got some Final Girls stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, very fun. Very fun. And then I spent way too much at the 25th Century Games booth because they keep putting out good stuff.
Chris over there was a bad influence too.
No, okay, so I blame this one on Michael again.
That was Jason. Excuse me.
No, that was you with the meeple, no?
No, that was
was
Jason. Nope, that was
I
Jason.
said I was blaming all three of you in Discord equally.
That was Jason.
Shaman. Yeah, he convinced me with the Dino meeple. But it looks fun. It's an area control. Basically, I think you're each controlling a tribe of dinosaur, and it's a tile laying game. It looks really fun.
Does it look like that? Like a dino meeple?
Yeah.
Is that from Evolution?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
I have it outside of it because I have a weird that's like right here, but I have another one that I use instead. I use the actual plastic.
Ooh, fun.
I did the same thing with Final Girl. It was too easy, knowing Van Ryder and how well they do their stuff. It was too easy to go all in. They're and rightfully so. The production of it, season 1 was amazing, and I know season 2 is going to knock it out of the park again. So
yeah,
I talked myself out of it, and then we had him on as a guest, and he started talking more about it. I was like, oh, I was mad about doing it.
yeah.
we'll have it at FinCon, I'm sure.
I don't really solo games, so that's what talked me out of it. But I was so close to doing it anyway.
It's good. It's really good. I played a game of it during Origins, and it was so tense. Like the game I was playing was like I had 0 people left to save. Everybody was dead. It was just me, and I had to like bring this little girl out with me safely. And basically, in that scenario, you can't kill the boss, unlike all the other ones where it's like you're supposed to either kill the bot, like kill the killer, or he kills you, and that's how the game ends. That one, the killer's not killable, so it's like you just have to escape. But it was pretty freaking hard. So it was really good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then on to my next 25th Century Games purchases. This is old, but I didn't have it, and I love Christmas, and it looks really good.
Did one of you bring that up at one point? I've seen that box on something else before. Was that you, Mike?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're doing a string of lights, and they're my favorite lights of all the Christmas lights that are out there. The C9s are my favorite. They're just classy. They remind me of my childhood. And when I saw that game with the C9s, I mean, they're different shaped.
Are C9s the bulby ones?
Yeah, the big glass ones. Like they look like that red one on the box.
They would fade over time. Like if we had outdoor ones that from year to year, you basically had to like unscrew them all. And we had like a bucket that we were keeping the bulbs in. And then every year you would like screw them back on one by one, but then they were like slightly more faded than the year before. Yeah. And then they would start to like flake off. So you'd grab one and there's only a little piece of color left on it. Like it was just, obviously things have improved in terms of quality, but yeah, they have that vintage feel to it. Mm-hmm. For sure. And then another one that I had to get because every time I see it online, I'm very jealous. Kohaku. It's another tile laying game. I think you can see what kind of game I like. Tiling. It's all about tiling.
Is it a step up from Carcassonne?
I don't know. This one just has koi fish and it says 120 different tiles in there. But I hear really good things about it whenever I see posts about this game. So I thought I'll just finally buy it. And then this one here, I was sold on the box cover.
And whose fault is that one?
Jason.
Yep. That's
Jason's fault. Yeah. The people of Syracuse, you're not a good influence. That's all.
It's so nice of you to sponsor the entire convention, Katia.
Yeah. Right. And then I went to the Game Crafter, and they had like bins and bins of components, and you could like fill a bag. So I just went nuts and got all kinds of cool things like little feet. Oh yeah, it was super fun. So that is basically the stuff I bought, which is way more than I normally would, just saying. So yeah, I blame the people of Syracuse.
Not me. Don't look at me.
You made me buy that cupcake game.
Honestly, first of all, it's Daryl and Adrian. Also, it's adorable.
Yeah, I didn't even know that until I picked up the box.
And it was $10. It's not like I'm getting you to spend hundreds of dollars on stuff. It was $10.
Sure.
And
you can blame me for the Forgotten Depths one, because that was me who dragged you there.
Yeah, see, that was $60. That was $10. Who's a bad influence?
And the Pendosaurus games. Yeah, it all went downhill.
Yeah. So who's blaming who? Canada. You can remove me from this thing. I don't know why you put me over there.
Because you should show some of the stuff you got.
Yeah, for your show and tell time.
No.
No? You didn't get anything fun?
This will be a 3-hour show before we get to Obi.
He bought a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Some highlights. Any highlights?
Yeah, like don't show us stuff that you bought the third copy, like new things.
There are.
Yeah, that thing you're looking at right now. Show us that.
There are 3 things I bought that I already had. Everything else is new.
Okay.
What's your favorite thing?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He hates favorite things.
I don't like favorite things.
Show us your top 3 favorite things.
Steven's mentioning a game here, Kitty Kitty. He's saying, did you check it out?
Oh, yeah, with the cats. You're trying to herd cats. It's by Fireside. We were showing Jason because he likes cats. Yeah, it's an older game.
Did you see the Boop one? Did you check out the...
There's a whole bunch of different cats, like little miniature cats.
The what one?
Cards, try and herd them. It's like, how did Steven say it? It's Hungry Hippos with cards.
Oh, okay. The one that I thought was cool. Yeah, it seems like it's a year heavy on kitties and cats. Smirk, and I believe it's going to be under the Smirk and Laughter, publishing company. Not their Smirk and Dagger, but their kids ones. They have this game that's going to be coming out. It's called Boop, and it's basically a bed, or like it looks like a bed with a quilt on it and like actual fabric, and there are cat meeples on it. And basically the quilt is separated as like a grid. And when you place a cat, the cats that are adjacent to it will bounce outwards. And so potentially falling off of the bed and stuff like that. And you're aiming at the end of the game, you're aiming to have 3 adult cats in a row. And you start with kittens, and your kittens upgrade to adult ones, I think, when you have them in a row. And so it's like a puzzly type game where you're trying to like plan your movement so that things will end up in a row and stuff like that. But it's so cute, like the placing, and then you move all the little kittens outwards, and it's gonna be a hit for sure. I was also denied Hungry Hippo. Oh, there we go.
I think everyone I knew at least broke their copy of Hungry Hippos. Because you hit it so hard you would eventually have a broken hippo or 2 on that board, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, what you got?
All right, I got 3.
Oh, yeah.
So if you've ever played, and again, this is Jason. Actually, all 3 of these are Jason's fault. Just want to put that out there. So he came back with this one to the hotel room, and he basically said it's Dr. Eureka with these wooden bits. So those are all the same shape wooden squares. The way that they're on a tower, and they have like a pin to lock it, so it's really like portable. But basically, you turn over a card, and it's got these stacked a certain way. Like that would be the card.
Oh my God! Heather says that he's laughing right now, so Jason is watching, or she's relaying the message.
I know he's watching because Heather's in the chat, so I know Jason's listening. You're a bad influence. It's not me, Heather. It's not me. So you'd flip over the card, and the card would have a certain pattern on it, and then there's the tower, so they all go on that thing, and then but you just stack them up, and first person to get it gets the card. There's 5 different ways to play, and of course, when Jason's reading the instructions, he's like, "You should have 2, because then you can play 4 players." So we're like, "Well, yeah, now you got to get 2 of them."
Have to, huh?
number two. Well, yeah.
Well,
Number
because you
two-
don't want it to just be a 2-player game. Like some of the modes work for 4, like because you take turns. But the one mode where it's a race, you definitely need to have 2 sets to make it work if you want 4 players. So you should have 2.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I've talked on the show before about a game called Coconuts. It's got a monkey with his hands out on a spring, and you put a coconut in it, and then you pull down his hands and flip them over, and you're trying to get the coconuts in the other people's cups, and the cups are stacked. I adore it. I think it's great. And Jason's like, you should see this thing. So it's basically coconuts, 4-player with 1 catapult, and you're trying to put them into the castles, and then there's like cards that it's...
Is that just beer pong? What is that? You're just trying to get it in the cups?
Yeah, but you're putting it in the catapult, and then it's on the spring, and then you're flicking it over to your other opponent's castle.
Fun.
Yep, and I love coconuts, and if it plays, and it's got some other stackable thing where the cards are there, and the cards have something to do with the game, as you reveal them, kind of thing. And then I guess my most favorite of the bunch, although Forgotten Depths I've already shown. Yeah, I think this would be my most favorite. It's called Goryo.
It's another cat game.
Yeah. Which I'm not happy. But the art is amazing.
Yeah, I like the art.
It's a 2-player game. Let me get this straight. It's a 2-player game. One person is playing a cat spirit, this thing over here, and behind the board is like a dry erase board, and you're gonna you have to use 5 cubes every round, and you have to plot out your path, like hidden movement, and then this other player is using these 3. Wow, this sucks. These 3 samurai that are here to guard the items. Because as the spirit cat, naturally, you're going around trying to knock them over and break them. And then you're trying to protect them. You're trying to catch the spirit cat so they can't do any more damage. So it's a little hidden movement, fun back and forth. But it looks, the art's great. Components looked great. Like we saw it in person. But
she says the cat looks cocky.
The what? Well, yeah.
Yeah. He's mischievous. Yep.
Nice.
Yep. So yeah, I think this would probably be my most favorite of the bunch. I did pick up Aldabas from Grand Gamers, which was on Kickstarter, which I'm excited about.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
The Asmodee sale had Cosmic Encounters Duel. So the 2-player Cosmic Encounters. Lance talked me into, I think Katia knows about them. That's 7, what is it, 7 Samurai?
Ronin?
Yeah, 7
Ronin.
Ronin. And
I have it.
Yeah.
It's another 2-player hidden, you're plotting what you're going to do. Basically, like one person is I think they're the ninjas or anyways. And the other person is the 7 Ronins. And each Ronin has an ability that they do. So basically, the ninja is trying to place their little ninjas or the little stars where they think that the 7 Ronins will not be going. Because if you get to place there, I think you get to add to your area control. But then if the 7 Ronin went there, you don't get to keep your stuff there, and then they get to do an action, and so they get to potentially remove some of your stars. So if you've run out of stars by the end of the game, you lost. And then I think if you successfully got rid of all of the 7 Ronins, then the other player loses. But it's another one of those hidden things, and it's super fun. Yeah. You'll like it.
Very cool.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a bunch of stuff, but those are the highlights. They're all great, but yeah.
Very cool.
It was a good Origins.
It was good, yeah. We didn't play that much, but we played just the one evening with a bunch of people, like a big group. We played Red 7. We played that stack game. Yeah, we played 3 games of Skull. We played that. What was that Captain game?
Oh, Captain.
Oh, Captain. That was fun.
Yeah,
It's a bluffing game.
Yeah. I like that one a lot.
Yeah. So being deceitful.
Yeah. It's got a lot of coup in it, where you're playing a card and you're saying it's a certain thing in order to perform a certain action, and people can call bullshit. And if you're wrong, then you got to pay them, and if they're wrong, then you. But it was really good.
Yeah.
Yep. We played that Cat in a Box. That was surprisingly awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Red 7 was a game that I played maybe like 5 or 6 times when I first got it, like real quick. Oh, you got to try that. You can try that. And then I stopped and I forgot it ever existed because the box is like this big.
It's
And
so small.
It's around here somewhere. And I don't know where it is, but I never think to play it because it's so small. If they were to do, kind of like a just one thing where, all you have is a little deck or something. If they just kind of expand the box a little bit, I'd probably play it more. But I forget that it exists because it's all buried behind here somewhere.
Yeah. It's a really good game. I really like it.
That's one of the games, and I haven't done it yet, but that's one of the games that you put into a quiver. So I know Gilmore and Ian, who was on a month ago maybe, they have quivers that they take places, and they're all like Forgotten Realms and Red 7 and all like the small card games that don't really need the giant box, but then you have them all in one spot. So when you open up your quiver, you have all these decks of card games with like maybe some dice, maybe some timers or whatever, but they're all like right there in that thing.
That's a good idea.
The hard part about the quiver, because I've seen people have those before, but they'll tell me how they take the box apart or take things out, and they're basically, sometimes people are like dissecting boxes to get them into that quiver, and that makes me like, oh no, I don't want you to mess up things or anything like that. But I get it if you want to walk around with as many games as you can, but
right,
it freaks me out. Don't like it.
Yeah. I can see that.
You can leave the box home. You can just put the cards in the quiver and leave the box.
Yeah, some of them are easy like that, but like I forget who it was, but they were telling me how they had everything in there, but they had taken the box like apart and folded it down and put it in there so that they could but yeah. I was like, oh no, why'd you destroy your game? That's not fun. I guess it depends on what kind of game you're trying to put in there.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, it's like if a box is getting destroyed, it's because it's an expansion and I'm combining the game and its expansion in the main box, and I'm throwing out the one box because it's just taking space.
It took me years, too long, and too much space before I finally broke down and started consolidating boxes from expansions.
It's heartbreaking a little bit because the artwork on those boxes that you end up throwing away is nice, and it's like I don't want to get rid of that box. Like, to me, the one that I found was the hardest to let go of, and I actually think I might have it, and I'm using it to like hold previous con badges or something. But it was the box from Raiders of the North Sea, the expansion Hall of Heroes. It's a Viking with a massive skull mug, like in close up, and it's Miko who did the artwork, and it's like, man, that is a stunning box. But it's like I don't want to just keep the box for the sake of keeping the box. So if it doesn't have a use, then it's gonna get destroyed at some point. But yeah, that's one where it's like, man, I got to find something to put in there because I don't want to toss it.
Take a picture of it.
Yeah. I mean,
take a picture, crop it, print it, and frame it.
Yeah.
You couldn't cut it and then put it on the inside of the original box.
I've done that with,
really?
Yes, Lords of Waterdeep. Lords of Waterdeep, the expansion box lid is on the inside because it was so nice.
Huh.
Oh, but they go together anyway.
Well, yeah, I'll show you what it looks
like. Box lid on the base game's bottom.
Hold on.
Right. But
So
That's what I have right here. I don't know if you can zoom or you can see it, but that's Lords of Waterdeep. From the yellow stripe down, that's the base game box.
right.
And then the top is Scoundrels of Skullport. It's actually a thicker top, so it goes down a little more.
Oh, yeah, because I did this and then like on the inside.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
that's neat.
Yeah.
So I imagine you took the insert out to put everything
Yeah,
in.
that game has the wooden insert in it anyway. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's one of the worst inserts as far as I'm concerned because it's made for it to lay flat.
oh,
But if you
okay.
put it on its side, everything just spills out because it doesn't fit very well in there.
It's kind of like this other insert that I've bitched about on the show.
Red Rising. Is that the one?
Yeah, maybe.
Mine doesn't do that. I don't know what you did wrong.
I stood it up.
No, mine's right up somewhere.
You
Mine's
took
somewhere
it.
back.
Those pieces. There's no way those pieces are in those spots where those pieces are supposed to be.
Yeah, probably. I don't know where it is.
If you find it, I feel like we need to find out.
Is it a 5-player game
I don't know.
or a 4-player game?
I don't remember. 4, I think.
Oh, then it's probably going to be over here somewhere, or it's going to be. Yeah, it's in the other room then.
Oh yeah, conveniently not grabbable.
Yeah, I organize my games by max player count. So.
I did
That
not
way
know
when you-
that actually.
Oh, really? That's why when people come over and you have 6 players, you could be like, we can play from here on. Makes it
That
real
makes
easy.
sense.
So
That makes a lot of sense. So it's your turn to do show and tell. Show us your Bad Batch characters that you got.
oh yeah, and that'll bleed well over into our next
Over to
episode.
Obi.
Yeah, good question. All right, so I've had some of these for a while. So some of you know that I collect the 6-inch
Nice.
figures and stuff. So you got the bad guy here. Slight spoilers, a Bad Batch, but yeah. So you've got. I even collect their helmets. Which I'm about to hit some buttons or something here. But like their helmets even have the little visors that go down and stuff.
The black series.
Yep. And then she got Wrecker, who's taller and bigger than everybody else.
Yep.
I finally got Tech. He was kind of a hard one to get, actually. I don't know why, but he's got all these little gadgets and stuff that
Nice.
come off of his belt that I don't want to pull off because I'll drop them and lose them forever. His helmet's pretty cool too. He has little visors that come up. There's his goggles.
That's cool.
Hunter's kind of the most boring one, actually. He's just, Rambo.
Yeah. He definitely has a Rambo look.
He has the blade that comes off of here.
Oh, that's cool.
But the thing that bothers me the most about him is he doesn't have any holsters to put his weapons in.
Huh.
And everybody else does. And I thought, well, maybe it attaches to this backpack thing, which comes off. Oh, he dropped his gun. Which comes off and stuff. But you can't attach the guns there either. So, yeah, that's the only disappointing part about him. But then this is the latest one I got that finished off all of them, which is Echo.
Nice.
He has the full hand bit and all that, So, yeah, I was posting pictures of the whole group together and stuff. See, he has a holster. He even has it in there.
So
He might be the coolest one, actually.
Yeah, that hand contraption thing.
His helmet even has an open part for the what's his name? The Lobe guy. Lobot. So he has that kind of thing on there, right, for during the series, and so his helmet has the opening for it. So that's kind of cool.
Very cool.
Oh, this is from Bad Batch, which is basically Clone Wars Season 8 in a way. So if you do, I always say this disclaimer, If you do watch Bad Batch, you should watch Clone Wars first, and if you watch Clone Wars, you should watch it in the correct order because seasons 1 through 3 are all mixed up on Disney Plus, and it won't make any sense to you. So just look up correct order to watch Clone Wars in, and I think it's StarWars.com actually has the website, and it tells you what episodes to watch it in.
Yeah.
Bad Batch. Season 2 is coming near the end of the season.
It's coming up this year, I think.
Yeah. So I don't normally show all these, but I was happy to finally get, because it basically been like a year that I've been trying to collect all of these, and finally got the whole batch.
The whole batch.
The whole batch.
The whole Bad Batch.
Yeah. And we're talking about moving. We're looking for a house and stuff, and I'm now daunted with the idea of how do I transport all of these because I don't keep the boxes.
I'm like you. The people who keep everything in the boxes, it's like, no, it has to be displayed.
I kind of wish I kept the boxes just so, because the boxes are actually pretty good art. I don't know if it's still, no, I threw it away. But they have like cool artwork on the boxes. So I almost kind of wish I kept them so I could turn them around and show the cool artwork behind the figures or something like that. But I didn't early on, and so I just continued not keeping them, right?
Yeah, you'll just need a lot of tissue paper and wrap
But
everything.
the same thing is like, I don't know if you ever played X-Wing miniatures, but there's no storage solution for all the different ships. Like you either have to keep them all and a lot of them just come in the like what's that called when it's just cardboard with plastic on top. You rip off the plastic and then you have a thing.
You mean like this?
Yeah, basically like that. Yeah. So a lot of ships come like that. So what are you supposed to do with the ship afterwards?
So an old friend, I bought their collection, and it's actually in a fishing tackle box.
Yeah, mine's in a Star Wars box. It's like a toolbox thing.
The Imperial Assault minis are in those like plano boxes.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, depending on the size of the minis or things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Blister packs.
Yeah, it's called a blister. I think it's called a blister pack.
Oh, one more to show off.
Or a
I don't know if I showed this or not, but I finally got Finnick.
Oh yeah, you show Fennec.
Oh, did I? I mean, it looks just like her. It's just awesome.
That's cool.
Like, does that not look like
May?
Yeah.
May.
The eyebrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about this is now I have all of the figures to recreate the last episode of Mandalorian season 2. So I might be doing something nerdy like that eventually.
Nice.
But yeah.
Cool. So yeah, that takes us into the Obi-Wan.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about Obi Wan episodes 1 through 4, and so we're going to talk about spoilers and stuff. So and this will be the last part of this episode. It's going to be a short episode. Well, depends on how long we talk about this, right? Short for us. Let's say short for us. So if you haven't seen Obi Wan Kenobi, please just pause us, go watch that and stuff. Come back to us later, eventually, and stuff, because it's going to be better watching it first before we spoil stuff, right?
For sure.
And I'll keep this up here.
Good night, Steven. It's good to see you at Origins, man.
Come back later afterwards so we can blow your minds with all the Easter egg stuff or ideas that we have.
Predictions.
A lot of questions.
Yeah, don't get spoiled. Nothing we say is going to be as entertaining as seeing it without being spoiled. So
Correct.
Well, nothing I say. I don't know what you guys say.
Yes. See you, Dan. I'll see you more.
I'm not going to be entertaining at all. All right. Bye, Steven. So we haven't gotten a chance to talk about any of these in the last 3 weeks, right? Because the first week, 2 episodes came out.
Right.
So let's just talk about episode to episode. The first episode was basically him hanging out, chopping meat in the desert, and then watching Luke be a bad kid. And then what? Then say, "Nah, I'm not going to go help Leia," kind of thing. That's basically all we saw. It was really
Yeah, it was a lot of sand, very brown.
yeah. It was technically a very boring episode, but as fans of Star Wars, it was awesome to see.
Yep.
Because you're just like, more Obi-Wan, yes. And you would just watch him reading a magazine on a couch if it's Obi Wan Kenobi, right?
Yeah. I mean,
it was a lot of setup.
Yeah. I loved seeing that, like, he had to find a job, try and blend in, like doing the same thing day in, day out, and sneaking his little like piece of meat for the whatever it is he's writing. What is that called? The thing he's writing.
I don't know. They've shown him many times. I've heard the name before. I can't recall it now.
I don't remember.
I thought they did such a good job on the CGI of that creature in the show. Like the way that it kneels down and he gets like the movement of it, I felt like it was way better than any of the CGI with the Rancor or even that big woolly mammoth looking thing that Boba Fett rides. Like I felt like that was it felt so real the way that it was moving and the dust coming off of the feet. Like it was just, they did a really good job on that.
Yeah, overall CGI effects and stuff like that, it looks like they pulled from the budget of Boba Fett to make this good.
Yep.
To be honest.
I don't think it beats King Kong in the end of Boba Fett though. I think the CGI of that thing jumping from building to building and was just some of the best CGI work, other than the chase scene in that too, was some of the best CGI work I've ever seen.
I smell sarcasm.
Yeah,
completely.
Yeah. Hey, Matt. Hey,
Matt, happy birthday! Happy birthday, Matt.
Yeah, happy birthday, Matt.
Happy birthday, man! It's a month for birthdays, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yours is a couple days. Ours is next week.
Yep.
I know ours is Sunday, depending on where you start your calendar.
It starts on Sunday, so
it's always Sunday. Doesn't matter where you start the calendar; it's still Sunday. So yeah,
my favorite part of episode 1 was in the beginning where we learned that Obi-Wan has been terrified of the events that happened this entire time we haven't seen him, right? Episode 3 ends, that whole shit happened. You know, at the end of episode 3, how distraught he is. You know, you were my brother. I loved you, like that whole thing. And you really feel deep for what had to happen. But now we 10 years? We fast forward 10 years. Mm-hmm. And he's still haunted by what happened. Like he's not getting good sleep. Like you can tell, like he's completely affected by the events of what happened. And that's just like, it's heart-wrenching.
You know what's crazy is I was showing Aaron Clone Wars before this, and we were like, oh no, we have to kind of rush it. So we were watching like 5 episodes a night, trying to rush it to get to the end. And the last 4 episodes, no spoilers of Clone Wars here, but I will say the last 4 episodes happen at the same time as episode 3, the movie, right? Just in a different perspective. Mm-hmm. So I had her watch the first 2 of those 4. Then we watched episode 3 and then watched the final 2. And then the next night Obi-Wan was on. And nice. So it was really fresh. All of everything that was happening and stuff, all of it was really fresh. And I'd seen episode 3, 1,000 times, whatever it is, quite a bit. And it was the first time I ever noticed the balance of what Anakin says and what Obi-Wan says. Like Anakin says, "I hate you," and then Obi-Wan Kenobi says, "I love you." Like I never noticed that as a exact response. I just kind of felt like they were just saying I didn't realize the 2 balance part, and I was just like, oh, it breaks your heart kind of thing. So whenever it went into, like you said, episode 1 here, where he was having that PTSD, I was like, man, I feel it too, because we just rushed through it for like the last 2 weeks and just got all of it driven into us. So it was really interesting to watch that. Yep. But yeah, 10 years of just sitting there. And you have to think about, he must know to some degree how bad it is out there, but I bet you he hides his own head in the sand as much as he can because he doesn't want to know. He must blame himself, right? To some degree. I'm sure all Jedi at some point are like, we allowed this to kind of happen. It was on their watch, basically, right? The Republic has fallen kind of thing. So there's a lot of people that say, like, how did he not know that Vader was out there and stuff? Dude's living in a cave, literally living in a cave, because he doesn't want to know what's going on out there and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
As fans, we kind of knew that too, right? Like he has to go to Tatooine and keep an eye on Luke. And up until now, we're filling in the gaps as fans. But up until now, I never really thought about, like, what the fuck Obi was doing on Tatooine. Like, what can you do there, right? So it's like he's just hiding out in a cave and he's being a creeper watching a boy grow up. Like, what exactly was going on? So now we realize that for 10 years he can't really sleep well. So he's just haunted by all the shit that happened. Him and Lars have gotten into it clearly multiple times. Like that little dig about for Anakin, like that whole. So it hasn't all been like fucking rainbows and yogurt. Like it's all been rainbows and yogurt. What?
Right.
Anyway, I don't know where rainbows and yogurt came from. Anyway, so he's been having a really friggin' hard time for 10 years living on this shithole planet with these people that are like, he can't stand up for himself when that guard, like you see him kind of itch. And I thought he was going to use the Jedi mind trick at that point, but you see him kind of itch. And it's like, he's just had a hell of a run for 10 years. Like after everything that happened, watching, like leaving him there, like having to bury the lightsabers, everything about what he's had to go through in 10 years in that one episode, as boring as it was, right? And as much like groundwork as it was laying, it was pretty intense.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's funny because I actually had to, like, I argued on a Facebook friend's post about the Obi-Wan series. The person said something like, wake me up when, something's happening, basically. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because, yeah, like to me, and the person was arguing that, well, Obi-Wan would never just give up like that and let himself, basically decline and not fight. Not continue to fight. And it's like, yeah, but with everything he had to watch and everything that he went through and not knowing if there's any of the other ones out there, really, like if he's been hiding for this long, like my assumption is that he didn't really know if there were any other Jedis left. So it's like, what is he going to do? Fight by himself against the Empire? Like, I don't think so.
Well, we find out that he does know there's more, right? Not only do we find out, like, there's another Jedi in town that they're hunting, but there's other Jedi that he's seen over the years, right, that have stopped by. So,
not only did he go to war for 3 years when he was trained to be a peacekeeper, but at the end of that war, he had to kill the boy he raised.
Yeah,
it's just that's ridiculously tough situation that most people could never understand. So I imagine a part of him going into exile was almost like relieved to do that. Like, yeah, I don't want any more part of this world or anything like that. I think that's why he refused at first to do anything. Not because he really needed to look after Luke. And we found out pretty quickly that he was not equipped to look after Luke. If those Inquisitors came by there, what was he going to do?
Yeah, because he's got to go dig out his lightsabers over there.
Right.
he was very rusty.
So him watching over Luke really wasn't that big a deal. And he was like, I should be training him soon or something like that. He wasn't ready to train him or something. He was really hiding from himself and hiding from everything else for the last 10 years.
Well, and he lost Padme as well. Like he lost all of all of his people, really. Everybody was close. He lost, and like having to fight Anakin and thinking that he killed him. Like it's just it's to me, I see it the same way. He's just been extremely broken.
His whole mission, right? His whole life's mission, they failed. They lost.
Yep.
All his friends, all his everything that he's
his religion,
Yeah.
His entire being.
To top it all off, he's gotta kill the, like you said, the boy that he raised. Like after everything that Obi had gone through, the Grievous and all the stuff that he's done has been amazing. But like all that downfall for him clearly was hurtful. Like it's I can't even imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even if you watch Clone Wars, there's a lot of bad stuff that happens to him during that time, and they don't really dive in too deep on how that affects him. But I think over the last 10 years, it's all kind of piled on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, and the realization you had been manipulated for years. Right?
Yeah.
Like everything that has been going on. But also, if you look at to play, good angel, bad angel, if you think about what happened, like Obi is kind of responsible for Anakin. I mean, obviously the Emperor is the ultimate manipulator and saw the opportunity to start digging his claws in where he had the opportunity. But Obi's constant putting down, you have much to learn, constantly calling him young, right? And then that being turned into Anakin's hate. Like, he's got to feel like, holy shit, what did I do? And then to look at everything that happened and realize, like, man, we got screwed.
And I think the one piece, too, that, like, the people who haven't watched Clone Wars are missing that one component. But, like, what happened with Ahsoka?
Yeah.
Like, all of that as well has affected Anakin. Yeah. Like, I don't think it's just I don't know. It's I don't think it's just one thing. I don't think it's just Obi putting him down. I think that what happened with Ahsoka was a big part of it.
Sure. And but there was a different relationship between Anakin and Ahsoka.
Yeah, but
good.
No, but what I mean is, like, for him to watch what happened to her with the Jedi, like that was almost like a, what the hell? I knew what this group of people was about, or I thought I knew what they were about, and it's like now all of a sudden, like, this goes down. It's like I think that broke a lot of the faith in the organization.
Yeah, that's one of the things I remember whenever the movies episode 2 came out, then episode 3, because everybody was like, what the hell's wrong with Anakin? Like,
right? That's how I felt.
But whenever you watch Clone Wars, whenever we watched it again, it just felt so like you were actually on Anakin's side at that point. You were like, yeah, the Jedi are kind of dicks and like are in bad shape here. Like, I understand where he's coming from and that kind of stuff. That's why Clone Wars is such an essential thing for a Star Wars fan, I think, to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's amazing. It's emotional when you think about when you're watching Anakin as a character, right? And I love episode 1 because we meet Anakin as a young kid, right? And then we watch him, his whole rise and fall, right? It's Star Wars, the life and death of Anakin Skywalker. Like, that's, if you just watch it, and then there's these side stories with like Han and Leia and Luke and whatever. But like we watch this thing develop, and then just the 6 episodes, just the 6 movies, forget the sequels and the animated, just those 6 movies is a hell of a narrative. Like, everything about it is so poignant and heartfelt, and like, take Jar Jar out and all the other, like, look at the bigger picture.
Got to keep the hero.
No. Then add in Clone Wars and get to know Anakin, and it's like so devastating to be like, this happened to him. Like, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I really feel like Clone Wars, we're all talking about Clone Wars instead of Obi-Wan, but I really feel like Clone Wars is 70% of the Star Wars story in a way, because it introduces my favorite character of all Star Wars, Ahsoka. Mm-hmm. And then it launches, because Dave Filoni was running it, and now he's running all of Star Wars. He's basing everything off of all of those old stories and stuff. So there's so much, if you hadn't watched that, there's so much that I wouldn't say you're missing out on, because you're just not getting those cool Easter eggs and stuff.
It explained so much and filled in a lot of gaps for me. Yeah. Like you were saying, it's hard to appreciate the, like, Anakin turning to the dark side fully until you've watched that, because like it looks like in the movies it happens overnight and then you're like, wait, what? And so when I watched that series, I was like, oh, okay, now I get it.
But back to, and well, just one more thing about Clone Wars is that there's a Yoda section in the sixth season, I think. Yeah, it's the sixth season, end of sixth season, that explains a lot of stuff that's kind of going on in Obi-Wan. Not a lot of stuff, but him trying to reach out to Qui-Gon is like those episodes are connected to that. So it's just, there's a lot of stuff that's there for the hardcore zealot, to use the of Star Wars, for the fans, the Uber fans. But so that was episode 1, was just like setting all of that up. Episode 2 had him going, what was that world called? That city world that he went to? I can't remember what it's called now.
I forget where.
Where Leia was being held. So he went to that. I've heard people complain about the chase scene.
Oh yeah.
Because of the it's way better than the Boba Fett chase scene. Anything better than that, I'm like, okay, whatever. But and it's because they film it in that bubble. I can't remember what it's called again. They have a name for it, but they film it in that same bubble that they film everything Mandalorian, all the Star Wars stuff in now. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but they project the backgrounds digitally behind the actors and stuff, so the actors feel like they're in it. They're not in front of green screens anymore. Right. The volume, thank you. That's what it's called. The con to that, though, is that whenever you make a racing scene or running scene or something like that, you only have that small volume of place to work in. So they have to keep turning corners or jumping on one roof, cut to another scene, jump to another roof, cut to another scene, that kind of thing. So unfortunately, you can't have these long pod racing scenes or something like that because the nature of the volume of what they're filming in. So people are complaining about the chase scenes and stuff being cut up like that. I think they did a lot better in this than they did for the Boba Fett one. I didn't even have a complaint about that. I think some people are trying to pick certain things apart at this point. But
I mean, for me, it felt.
Stop thinking about The Office, the parkour episode of The Office. I don't know if you saw it. Like, it seemed unnecessary, jumping, kicking off the walls and stuff.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I mean, she's so aggravated at this point. She's so angry. She's been hunting them down for how long? And she didn't want a little, like, HVAC unit to get in her way, so she's just jumping around it. Like, she's got.
For
she's
me,
got
it was the backflip. Like, she's coming down something, and all of a sudden it's like this crazy, and it was like, okay, that was ridiculous.
No reason for that.
No reason for that. Now you're just showing off. But yeah, to me, I felt like of that whole chase scene. To me, that was the only piece of that I didn't like because it felt unneeded. For me, it was more. And it could be due to that bubble thing that you're explaining. I felt like when Leia was being chased in the woods, it's like she is not sprinting for her life here. But again, I don't know how long she actually has ahead of her. Now that you're explaining that setup, it would be hard to really book it if you know that you're going to end up like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, that could have been done in a forest, though. Like, that was... of the 4 episodes, my only complaint is that everything else about it, the wardrobe for Leia, like everything about it has been so good for a Star Wars fan. It's been amazing. But that
her
chase
personality is on par.
Like, really, like, is she really threatened? Like, they were running like they were on a treadmill. Like, it was just not. It was the biker gang from Boba Fett. For me, like when you saw those bikes, those hover bikes or whatever the hell they are, and then that chase scene with the whatever the hell his name is, it was very like, God.
So this is what the actors are seeing. They're actually seeing the background and stuff around them.
That's cool.
And of course, it helps with lighting and stuff like that. I mean, this is, it's not it's CG and stuff, but they actually get to pretend like they're in the world. And
Right.
it looks like this when they're not projecting it, but he sees all of this around him, which is crazy.
That's cool.
So I just explained that for people that didn't know that. But
Nice.
Well, it's more immersive, right? I'm sure as an actor it helps, right? It gets you more into the feeling of what's going on around you.
Yeah, and gives perfect lighting and all that stuff. Yeah,
good point. And yeah, I'm sure Flea has bad knees. I mean, that makes sense.
That was funny because when his character showed up, I was like, man, he looks familiar. Who is that? It's one of those where I thought it was like maybe an actor from another movie. I couldn't remember. And then somebody in the Discord, I think in the chat, said something about Flea. I'm like, oh my God, that's who that is. And I was just like, oh, that's hilarious.
The minute he popped on, I went, Flea.
Yeah.
And then, of course, whenever...
Like, it's perfect casting for that.
And then, of course, whenever he had... like he was saying, I'll beat you up to Obi Wan and stuff. He was like, cut off your Johnson, because I was thinking of him and the Big Lebowski.
Oh, yeah. One of the nihilists. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Michael, it was it was from episode 3. It was the mole looking thing with the that's who Zach Braff was voicing for.
Yeah, I just found that out a few hours before this. That was fun.
However, if you go back and listen, or you listen to a sound clip, like one of the highlights or whatever, it sounds a lot like Seth Rogen. I can't unhear Seth Rogen now.
I could see that.
So, I actually read that it was like his Seth Rogen impression. So I wonder if part of that was on purpose.
Funny.
If it was him just trying to sound like Seth Rogen. Yeah.
That's funny.
Because I listened to when I watched today, it was doing the recap. And you hear it, like you see it in the recap, and I was like, it doesn't really sound like the guy from Scrubs.
He's doing a voice. Yeah.
It's Seth Rogen.
So that was episode 2. Episode 3, of course. So I did not realize they were going to meet up that quick, right? Vader.
Hold on. Go back to episode 2 for a sec. That character of what's his name, Haja, the swindler. Oh my God, that was great.
I love that guy.
Awesome. Like that whole scene where he's trying to pretend he's a judge.
Yep.
That was amazing.
Yep.
Kumar, I can't remember his last name. It starts with an N, I think.
He's from the Eternals, apparently.
Yeah, he was also from Silicon Valley, which I knew him. He was a comedian on there. It's great.
Gotcha.
Great show, by the way. But
so there's two Easter eggs in 2 we didn't talk about. The girl that comes over to him and asks, does he want to buy any spice? That's Ewan's daughter.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And
looks nothing like him.
Yeah,
there's so much stuff canon-wise, right? So many comics, so many lines that you got to make sure. I can't imagine trying to make sure that everything is on par with everything that's been said in Star Wars lore, legends aside. When we see that stormtrooper asking for a handout with the helmet, and we see the blue armor, and he's got the helmet upside down, and you can kind of miss that it's Morrison. But man, if that was Rex, right, and they bring him back, I know that he's I haven't seen him from whenever, and I'm sure they would have recognized. But watching that scene again, Obi recognizes him, and it's probably all the stuff from him being a general and him being in the wars and knowing Cody and Rex and all of them, right? Because they look similar. And there's this guy just disheveled and dirty and this kind of beard. It would have been so cool if you just saw Rex's art on the helmet, and it was just kind of I know you're on the run, and I can tell that I can't stand up and be like General Kenobi because something's going on. And there's that moment where it's kind of understood. You can read it as if it was understood, I can't say what I know right now because I don't want to out you as being Kenobi, which whatever. He changed his name to Ben from Obi Wan and kept his last name. He's not hard to find, right? I'm sure people know Ben Kenobi.
This was, I wanted to point this out, but that was a great quote from Ewan McGregor's daughter.
Yeah. I like the first thing. She calls him an old man. Can I get you something, old man? Or how can I help, old man? That's really cool.
So he changes his name Ben, but he doesn't tell anybody Ben Kenobi. Now
But
in
people
Star
know
Wars,
him as Ben Kenobi.
no, in the New Hope, they know him as Ben Kenobi.
He
But
says
in this, he
in the
only
show,
goes by Ben.
it's just Ben.
Yeah,
He says
he
it's
only
just
goes by Ben. And I
Yeah.
think Luke in Episode 4 knows him as Ben Kenobi because Owen has said it, or something like that, or maybe he's told him Ben Kenobi, but don't tell anybody, or something like that. But he hasn't ever used the name Kenobi. He just tells people Ben. So,
Yeah.
I mean that's probably them trying to fix the old, because people have been saying that since 1977. Like, you've been trying to hide out and you're using the same last name. What's, and you went back to the same planet that blah blah blah. But yeah. So I think they're trying to fix it by saying no, it's just Ben. Kind of thing.
Sure. But I mean, they can kind of rewrite or, fix. Maybe not fix is the right word, but like change some of that stuff. So if Rex had said, I haven't seen him in X amount of years, or I haven't seen him since whatever, there's nothing that says they can't write in a cover up, right? Where they like, well, I saw him, but I couldn't mention him because he was on the run or whatever. There can be something like that because it was such a cool Easter
It wasn't
egg.
Rex. You can see the side of his helmet. It doesn't have the notches. It doesn't have the thing.
I know. It just would have been a really cool.
Rex has the blonde hair anyway, right?
Yeah, but at this point, I mean, it's older, right?
He's bald, actually.
Yeah.
If you watch Clone Wars, he goes bald.
Yeah.
I think it's just a older art trooper that never served with him personally.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just seemed to be a miss. Just like in episode 3, I think the biggest miss of the series so far was when Lola. What were they calling her? What was
the little robot? Yeah.
Oh, Lola, the robot, or wait?
Nope. What was Leia's fake name?
Luma.
So when she goes, "I'm Luma, and this is my father," say hello, and he looks up and he says hello. Why they didn't write in the word "there" after hello? So he said hello there. Like, come on.
Hello there.
No, they got to save that for a special occasion. He can't just be like, hello there. You got to wait until he goes, hello there. Like,
there's 2 episodes left. There's no opportunity. As dark as it's gotten, right? As emotional as it's gotten over the last 2 episodes, there probably won't be the right opportunity for him to just come up cheerfully and say hello there. That was the moment, right? There's this guy's the daughter's lying, right? She's already like running off, breaking your rules. And there's no, like, that moment would have been perfect for him to say hello there.
He's got to face off against the third sister. At some point, she's got to be looking for him. And you got to see her face when she hears, hello there.
Hello there.
And she'll turn around and see him. How great would that be? And
awesome.
You're like, when you hear that, you'll be like, oh, Obi-Wan's back.
Yeah.
Because until so far, you have not seen Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Back, right? You've seen Ben.
I think today. I just watched episode 4.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think today we've seen Ben. We've seen Ben.
He's come back.
Yeah.
But before we get into episode 4.
Sure.
Episode 3, the delivery of that intro when Leia says, this is my friend, my father. This is my father. Like, the way that she nailed it.
Yeah.
And the fact that she completely ignored that you're not going to talk. Am I not able to talk, or I won't talk? You just don't talk.
Yep.
And then she goes right away and does what she wants. Yeah, it was really, really well done.
I love the character of young Leia. I've seen people go, she's annoying. She's 10, so she's supposed to be 10. Nope. And she's also awesome at 10.
Yep.
And she's everything you could, like, if you could imagine what Leia would be at 10 years old, this is what you would hope. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Adventurous, defiant,
the rebel,
smart, intelligent, a rebel. Yeah.
The rebel. Everything that she's been doing has been down to the outfits, the parallels in outfits, right? She doesn't look exactly like Leia's outfits, but they're making it look like her Endor gear, right? In the episodes, they're making it with the white, they're like the purple, and they're making, and she's really, the relationship that's growing between her and Obi is filling that gap of like, you helped my father during whatever, like I trust you. Like there's a little bit of fixing that needs to go on there because it comes across as if they've never met, right? Like when she's talking to R2 and she says, you helped my father and whatever, it's almost as if they don't know each other.
Well, but she's doing this very like diplomatic General Kenobi, blah, blah, blah. But whenever Luke Skywalker says, I'm here with Ben Kenobi, she goes, Ben Kenobi, like her face. And we're talking about episode 4, the original movie, right. But her face lights up like I'm actually being saved. Like when she saw Luke, she was like, "Who's this asshole coming in here or whatever and stuff?" Right? But the minute he says Ben Kenobi, she lights up like, "Let's go." Yep. And that makes it even better, right? Like when you think about her having this little history with him. So,
yeah, it's amazing when she's like, "Are you my father?" Like, oh my god.
Yeah. That made so much sense.
Yeah.
That was the right question to ask. Yep. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And then did you know my mother? Oh.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, it's amazing. She's nailing it. She's I guess there's moments, but I don't know how old she really is, but she's a scared 10-year-old in this show. Like she's doing a great job. They all are. They're all
from what I read, she was 9 when they filmed.
Nice.
So, close enough.
Sure.
Yeah. But it's funny because the first episode I like that she was in, like I remember thinking she looked really small for a 10-year-old. But at the same time, it's like Leia was really short.
Like, yeah, she's pretty petite.
So it makes sense to have a kid that is on the shorter side even for,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so episode 3.
So how do we feel about the Grand Inquisitor taking a lightsaber to the gut?
That obviously, well, okay, I won't say obviously. That either isn't the Grand Inquisitor that is later in the Rebels thing. There's just another one kind of like him. Or maybe he's got all mechanisms in his gut like Fennec, yeah.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
We don't see him.
We see it. Darth Maul in half, and he's still around. So.
Right.
It's true. Just don't be sad, because if you're sad, you're dead forever.
Right.
What?
So I think I posted on the Discord. Maul gets cut in half. He's alive. The Emperor gets thrown down the thing. He's alive, although there's probably a clone after that anyway.
Yeah.
But then Padme died of sadness.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Which I think, I don't know if it's a theory that was proven, but what I read was that the Emperor drained her life to give it to Anakin to keep him alive.
Actually, Darth Maul is a Zabrak, and if you look in the original role-playing game, Zabraks have exceptional stamina. So,
well, you see some of that in Clone Wars, right?
Yeah. They're tough. It's a tough race. Yeah. So episode 3, Quinlan Voss. Just the mention of that. Oh, that's
on the wall. Yeah,
that's great. If you watch Clone Wars, you'll know him. Guy with the yellow tattoo. He's actually in episode 1, the movie episode 1. He's just in the background. He's sitting down at a table as they pass by. He was apparently undercover, but there's a still frame you can find of him sitting down watching them go by. Yeah. I'm guessing that they just like either it's real close or they took that guy who maybe was supposed to be a little bit more or something and did something more with him. I don't know, but
you think we'll see more of him, or do you think it was just like that was a nod and they'll leave it at that?
I kind of hope it was just a nod.
Yeah. I don't know how they would. I mean, I don't know where they're necessarily going.
Yeah, I hope that was just a nod to all the Clone Wars fans and stuff to be like, oh, he's still alive. He's still doing stuff. That's pretty cool, you know?
Well, and it makes sense too, because wasn't he like almost by himself on that planet? Like he was very much alone.
Yeah, he was what people call a Sentinel Jedi. People, what is called a Sentinel Jedi, which means that he kind of operates on his own in a general area. Now, the Hutt space area was his spot, and they don't really report to the temple or do what the temple says or anything. They kind of do their own. They're almost like Ronin taking care of their area kind of thing. And unfortunately, they were kind of the easier ones to hunt down because most of them depended on the people that they helped to hide them. So they had their own little areas and stuff like that. But
interesting.
So that also comes across in Clone Wars that he's very kind of just does his own thing. He doesn't really listen to the council and all that. So in episode 3, he runs into Darth Vader, which I thought was going to be like an episode 6 thing, right? I thought we were going to have to wait till that kind of thing happens. But man, the I am what you made me. Oh, that hits in 2 different places, right? He raised him and then he turned him into Darth Vader kind of thing. It's just,
So them finally meeting, and I don't know if you picked up on it right away, but I did. When they fight, right? And Obi is not ready, like he's still rusty. He's really trying to like just survive that battle. Darth never, as far as I can tell, never touched a lightsaber with a second hand.
Yes, I noticed that too.
He's beaten him down with one, and the lightsaber is supposed to be heavy, right? Like the way that it's supposed to be, it's not a light item, right? So, which is why the two-handed, like you're supposed to, it's something with the Force, or it's supposed to be a heavy kind of thing to manipulate, kind of like the Darksaber.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like I haven't heard that lightsabers are heavy, but their fighting style is double-handed. Whenever they're fighting each other and stuff, that's how they fight. But what's really cool, you might be getting to this, but what's really cool is if you watch him and Luke Skywalker fight in Empire Strikes Back, he starts fighting them just one-handed and stuff. But at the end, he starts fighting them with both hands because he's like, damn, I can't kill this kid. And he like actually has to get into it. So I'm hoping that's going to be replicated the next time they meet, where the next fight, he's going to have to switch to using both hands.
Yeah. He's gonna, I mean, as Obi is progressing, right, and he's getting stronger, but that moment, there's one where Obi is like just down, right, and he's just getting swung on, and you see Vader just with one hand just fucking pounded him. Like, dude, he's not touching it with his second hand. Like, he's just like, ugh.
And you hear the noises from Obi, like, struggling.
Yep.
And yeah, it's...
I mean, it's all cybernetic. You know he's got the strong cybernetic implants and all that stuff, right? You're not just going to put in the weak sauce stuff. You're going to put in the strongest stuff possible.
We get a little peek of his anger at the end of Rogue One, right? Like, we just see him tearing it up. And you're like, okay, but we really haven't seen... We saw the 77, 80, and 83 version of Vader, right? But we haven't really seen Anakin's Vader.
Yeah.
Being like, not young, but like just angry. And he's running through the village and he's cracking necks and he's throwing people around and it's just like a terror. And it's like, wow, this is intense. And then they meet, and that whole hide and seek thing in what looked like a sand farm. I don't know what it was. The dunes of... Mm-hmm. That maze thing was kind of like, how did he get around there when Obi's running this way? Like, whatever. But man, every time they meet, and the lighting and the dark and the saber lighting up, and it's just like, and then there's that like unbelievable moment where you're just like, you stop breathing. You're like, oh my God.
What's funny is that the thing that was going through my mind when Obi-Wan's got his lightsaber lit up and he's looking, and I'm like, dude, turn it off. And your vision will be better in the dark. You're blinding yourself with the light. Like, that's all that was going through my head. I'm like, turn it off.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I mean, right in front of you with the lightsaber, and like this, you're not going to see anything.
You're not going to see squat. Yeah, I know.
Well, you're gonna see several. I think I'd like to see if somebody in YouTube does this, but takes the fight from Empire Strikes Back with him and Luke, and this one with him and Obi Wan, because there's the whole thing with the steam that goes and blocks him and stuff, and the whole thing where he has it off and he comes out of the dark and starts chomping away, kind of thing. Like, they definitely nodded to that kind of thing. That's why he was fighting one-handed, I think, because that's how he fought Luke in there. And
Right.
I think they're going to, eventually kind of make it feel like Return of the Jedi whenever they come back together again to really
Well, and
fight.
I think they have to make, so people were mentioning like that line when it's like, oh, when I left, like you were the master and I was the apprentice, or whatever it is that he says, and it's like, well, now we're seeing that like Obi-Wan is not fighting well. He needs to get back to that level, because otherwise that line no longer makes sense. So I'm wondering if, like before we reach episode, or like by the time we reach episode 6, if it's going to be like they're going to have a fight and Obi-Wan's going to come out on top, and I think what's going to happen, this is just like my prediction, is I think that they're going to have a fight and Obi-Wan is going to show him mercy. I don't think, I think it's basically like he's going to end up just like coming out on top of being like, I can't do it. Right. And I think that's why, like that's how they could tie it so that that line makes sense. Still in the movie.
I hope Obi-Wan becomes a little bit more Obi-Wan cocky at the end, and deservedly so. I hope he becomes a little more, gets his power back, basically. And I hope that, so the way he beat Anakin the first time was Anakin being angry and overestimating his own power, that kind of thing, right? I hope he tricks him into that again by saying something like, well, you were never a master, because how that made him so mad in episode 3 that he wasn't a master. He never got upset. I hope he digs that in so that it makes sense that Vader brings it up the next time,
Yeah.
Because he's got to make him mad enough to basically overextend himself like he did last time, right?
I don't think there's a lot of that episode 1, episode 2 quirkiness to him, right? Or even the Clone Wars, like the quips and the sarcasm and the cockiness. I don't think there's room for it here. I think this is really an emotional journey of Ben being alone, untrained, rusty, like trying to deal with the trauma of what he had, like what he walked away from, right? Like, talk about mercy. Like, at that point, you should have killed him. Like, he's screaming, he's lit on fire, right? You cut off his limbs, and this is your brother, right? And that emotional, you were my brother, Anakin, like that whole thing. He's been dealing with that for so long. And now I don't know if like the hello, I don't think we're going to get a hello there. I think that was missed. I don't know how it's going to end. Obviously, we know who makes it out, but I don't think in 2 episodes they're going to be able to turn the corner in such a drastic fashion where that humor is going to feel, where that humor is not going to feel out of place.
Right.
Yeah, I wanted to get to that point. I want to see Obi-Wan Kenobi come back a little bit, basically.
Well, there are there's another sister and a brother, right? Like there's 3 Inquisitors that he could start taking down before he even gets to Anakin. And I think that's going to be like the rise of Obi, or the return of Obi.
Right.
Like right now, still Ben, he had to use a gun, which he swore was uncivilized. Like that was kind of cool. And now he's just he held the fucking ocean back. Like,
talking about that. That was my only issue with that episode, was that scene. Like, as cool as it was to see his powers come back and how he was holding that, and as I'm watching it, I sort of foresaw the problem that they were going to run into.
Yep.
Is how it's coming. Like, he should have gotten swept right up, because it doesn't matter that he pushed the force to have the crack go this way. That portion should have like completely taken him out. So I had to kind of like block that out of my mind and roll with it. And same thing, when the door closes, there's like no water on the ground. He's not wet whatsoever. It's like, okay. But
well, if he's holding it here, basically think of like putting a force field behind the cracking glass, and then he pushes the crack this way and isn't holding it back, that breaks, and then he runs, it starts breaking out,
But
yeah, but he can't run faster than that coming in. He would be swept and the door shutting. Like there isn't enough time for that. The only thing that got me through it is that he's holding it back and he does the crack that way. As he's piecing out, he's still part of him is holding it behind him, so it's taking longer to get to him. It's not just a rush through because he would have gotten taken.
Like, I would have felt better had he like done it, and then as like those doors are starting to open and they're getting through, had he started to like slowly like back away a little bit.
Sure,
that's all I needed, and then I would have been a little bit more on board. But yeah. That aside, like seeing him start to get his powers back, like how much he was able to hold that, like that was cool. That was cool.
Yeah,
and
Andrew,
like I see Andrew's comment there.
Yeah, before I
course.
put it up there, I was gonna say a Rebels spoiler for that.
And it's like, of course, I know he's gonna get stronger, but when in the timeline does that happen with Maul versus what we're watching?
After.
Because we're looking at only a few episodes left, and we don't know for sure if this is the end or if they'll decide to make a second season. So it's like he's gonna have to get stronger. We all know that, but it's the when, I guess.
The Rebel series definitely happens after this, the Obi Wan series. It's a lot closer to A New Hope than this is, but you still have. At the time of Obi Wan Kenobi, you still have, I think, 8 more years before the Battle of Yavin, A New Hope, Episode 4.
Right.
So,
okay,
it's somewhere in there. So I would say probably around 6 years. I think it's like 2 or 3 years before the Battle of Yavin is whenever that happens. So, but yeah, so Episode 4 that you guys both watched today, right?
Yep.
Did you notice Master Sanube?
Yes.
Where? I don't even know who that is, by the way.
So in the Amber, the Jedi that were in the Amber.
Oh yeah.
In the tomb. So
Which
one of them, I think it's Sanube. Master Sanube is the one that helped Ahsoka get her lightsaber back when it got stolen. If you remember that episode in Clone Wars, that old Jedi that was that you never saw any other species, but when they showed him, I was like, oh my god, there's that guy. And he was actually in the Yoda episodes in the last 6th season of that as well. So it's kind of cool to see him. I couldn't identify anybody else.
When we enter that hall, the first one on the right, and we never saw it again because I wanted to confirm, and I got to go back and look. But I think that was, and it didn't make sense, but it looked like Plo.
Oh.
Like it looked like but I thought he blew up on a ship.
Yeah, he did.
All right. Because that's Filoni's favorite. So if Filoni's got an opportunity to put him in there, like that could have been the time.
Yeah.
But a lot of those, you don't realize that they're Jedi because a lot of them just look like townsfolk that they took in.
But they're probably dressed like that, yeah.
Sure. But I agree with what Michael said there in the comment. Is like it feels like everyone should have been significant, but then just one random kid. Like I also felt like I was watching that scene, I was watching each shot, and I couldn't recognize any of them.
Well,
who was the kid?
The kid from the movie.
Where in the movie?
Like when they come in, when they come in.
Yeah, the kid was wearing one of the hats that they use.
Yeah. But no, the point is that everybody else in there is unrecognizable. It's like that they should have put more iconic ones in.
Well, they had the one Master Sanu, but I mean, you don't want to pepper every single one and it's this guy and it's this guy and this guy, or otherwise it just starts feeling too fan servicey.
So I'm pretty sure that the kid is the kid that comes out when Anakin walks in and all the Padawans are hanging out behind the chairs hiding and they think he's gonna. I think that's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's what he looks like.
Oh, I don't think it's that kid. I think Anakin murdered that kid.
Yeah, I'm sure he did, but then they took him.
It looks like
he wasn't wearing a hat either.
Yeah, he was. Oh,
yeah, he was.
Yeah,
I'm sure he wasn't.
Oh, now I gotta look it up.
I'm pretty sure. That's what I got from it. So that's where
Now,
I'm going.
at the beginning of Obi-Wan, they show the kids running and stuff.
Yep.
Those kids were wearing them. But in episode 3, those kids that were hiding in the room that said, "Master Skywalker, what do we do? They're everywhere." And he turns on his thing. They weren't wearing the hat.
Oh no, he does not have a hat.
Okay. All right, so I gotta watch episode 1 again, because then that could be one of the kids that's running around. And so the theory, I don't know if it's true, but the theory is Reva wants Kenobi, because Reva is in episode 1 running when the troopers are storming the Jedi Temple. Right?
There is a African American young girl as one of the kids that has the hats on that's running.
She keeps saying, like, when she was talking to Leia about her like having stuff taken away from her and stuff like that, it sounds like she was a force sensitive child who got brought in to be a Padawan, so or a youngling. But yeah, that'll be interesting when they finally like confirm it with something a little bit more.
So I think that was what was most aggravating in the beginning, is you have Reba who's so fucking angry at Kenobi, right? Like so angry. It's just eating at her. It's everything why? Why is she why? Because they're like, just forget about it. You've been chasing him for years. Like, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. Like, it's a personal thing, but what's that personal thing? And the only thing to now that makes sense is that first scene. So hopefully in one of the next episodes, like can
you move your straw? It's like right across. It's driving me crazy. Okay, there we go. I agree, and I think they should address it, or should have addressed it sooner than later, because I don't like that sense of like, for now, it's not making sense why she's this angry. I need to know for it to kind of all mesh and be on board with it.
Yeah,
that one.
This could be the kid in Amber. This could be her. And this is from Obi-Wan episode 1.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're talking about potential predictions. Like, that's Reba. Yeah. The kid on the right is the kid that's in the Amber.
Could be.
Yeah. Her scene with when she's talking to Leia and trying to get that information out of her, and she's trying to convince her to give her the information, and at some point she's like, but I would have to tell my father. I would want to tell my father first because we're all on the same side, right? And then she goes, that moment there, I was like, oh, could you ever like feel it? It was like, it was brilliant. Yeah. And even like when she's getting ready to pull the trigger on the torture, and she's like, I'm sorry, I really am. And then when she says, you did this to yourself, she's trying to convince herself. Like, it sounds like to me that line, because she breaks eye contact, it sounds to me like she just doesn't want to admit to herself that she's that cruel, that she's about to torture a kid. Like, she's like, you did this to yourself. Like, this is not me doing this to you. Like, it was, that interaction was so cool to watch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think we're gonna see something where those kids get captured and they're made to like fight each other and stuff, and she ends up having to kill most of them and turns to the dark side because of that kind of thing. And all the while being told that the Jedi are the reason why they have to do this, So her hate for the Jedi is what keeps her from hating herself, kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
What is the purpose? And obviously it's more of a prediction, I guess, but what is the purpose of the Jedi in the Amber? Is it like a throne? Is it like Thanos' throne room?
No. I think this is the early stages of Palpatine trying to get more midichlorians from the same reason why they were kidnapping Grogu, right? To get his blood, to get their stuff so that they could learn how to clone basically a powerful body that Palpatine could then move his spirit into. I think this is all connected to that kind of storyline.
You think we'll see Sheev in this?
I don't know. That'd be kind of interesting.
Who?
Palpatine.
Oh.
His first name is Sheev.
Nah.
No?
It'd be kind of interesting to see something from it, but I almost kind of don't want him to, because I want this to be the Vader and Obi Wan Kenobi story. You know, I don't want to feel the puppet master pulling strings, doing stuff. I want this to be Vader's like. I almost, if he is in it, I almost want to see the Emperor going, "Let your Inquisitors take care of Obi-Wan. You do this," and I want him to go like, "No, I'm going to go take care of Obi-Wan." I want to see that. I want to see him just disobey him and go, "No, I can't." You know, and maybe he gets punished for it. Who knows? But
yeah, I don't think we'll see him.
Yeah,
if we do, I think if we do, it's going to be something real short on like the all around. Yeah, it's
and that's fine. I don't mind if there's something there.
I don't think so.
I like that they're focusing the story on Obi-Wan and his all the stuff that he's gone through and all that stuff, right? So, and now all the stuff that he's being forced to know and acknowledge and see for himself. But
I mean, really like he's got a little bit of a vendetta against Palpatine too, right? Because he was like they worked together, right? There was his person that he sent on missions, and so there's a little bit of like
he saved him.
Yeah.
Well, Anakin saved him, but he went to save him.
Sure.
To know that all of that was just staged.
Yeah. Everything. In episode 4, when they were standing around the planet, right, and they were looking at the water moon, and they were talking about like taking the speeders and going and whatever. Was that R2 on the left?
I don't know what you're talking about. I can't imagine it would be.
It was the colorway, like the light from his what you would assume would be his eye. Everything about it, and they made sure he was in focus. They made sure he was on screen. He was there in this focal point when they were looking at different parts of that scene where they were the camera angles. He was right there, and I couldn't place why why R2 would be there, but it was him.
Trying to see if I can find that scene.
Speaking of robot, in the in episode 3, the one that rescues Ben, is like I'm looking at it, and first of all I loved when you. Oh, hang on. Now we gotta
look
watch
at that.
it.
They won't let me show it.
I
can see it on my monitor, but it's just black here.
Yeah.
Can you take a screenshot?
Nope. It turns black when you do that. They're very crafty.
They're very good at it.
The best you can do is take a picture with your phone, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, go back to that scene and look on the left. It's pretty. I know.
Oh, I see exactly what you're talking about. Wow.
Right. So I know Mike was saying like it's astromech droids are mass produced, and I get it. But like everyone that we've met has had a different colorway. There aren't any that are real. Like when you see an R5, like they're different, but you know when you see the one from A New Hope. When you see R2, you know it's R2. There are other R2 units, but you know it's R2. There are distinct features that stand out from R2 being on screen than other R2 units.
Really close to R2. You're not wrong.
Right. But I don't understand why, at this point, how is R2 on Tatooine, on that planet? Sorry, he's not. I thought he was somewhere else. And it doesn't make sense that, well, the whole thing, like, how does Obi not recognize R2 when he sees him? And, like, the whole wiping of the memory of the R2 units. Like, I get it.
It could be another R2 unit, but, yeah, it's
too close.
I'm going to have to go watch it for a third time.
I'm getting the, for those that want to see it, it's at 3127. But I'm going to pull up an image here. I just have to email it to myself. Because I have to jump through these hoops because they don't want me to take screenshots.
Okay, so then let me say what I had to say about that other robot. When I saw it, I immediately. So first of all, I love when he was like clenching that hammer and behind his back. Oh my god, that was so good.
Oh, the loader robot.
Yeah.
The loader droid.
Yeah.
But when I saw him come to take Ben, I was like, this robot is a mix of Baymax and Bumblebee into one.
I
Like
got a
Baymax,
lot of K2 as well. Like it seemed like it was a pre K2 unit.
I don't know, but he just like, because he's like not, I don't know, he's just so big but gentle. Like
Yeah.
he's helpful. It just, yeah. I saw him and I saw Baymax from Big Hero 6.
I mean,
Yeah.
that
I
looks
don't
like
know.
R2. It looks very close.
He
Right?
looks like he has less blue.
It's so close that they shouldn't have had him in there if they don't mean him to be R2. Right?
Yeah, he looks less blue than R2.
Yeah. The blue is a little bit different up here, and there's no blue vertical panels here. But
Yeah,
man, you're right. They should have done a cone head with it or something. It's too close.
But you see him a couple times in that scene, right, in different angles, and maybe it's just a weird picture or lighting, or he's dirty, or he's under repair or something. But that screams R2. It's not like, oh, that's cute, like it's another mouse droid, like aha, right? Because mouse droids, or gonk droids, like they're that is too.
So
close.
right now, R2 and C-3PO are working on Captain Antilles' ship. And Captain Antilles works for the Alderanian government. So that's where they should be right now, is working for the Alderans on board that Corvette, that big ship. That's where they were left on episode 3. That's where they end up on episode 4.
Okay.
Captain Antilles was their last master. They even say it in episode 4. So it shouldn't be R2-D2.
Okay.
There's not enough blue.
I couldn't figure out. Yeah, but like we see 3PO, E3PO. We see 3PO with a red arm. We see him with a silver leg. We see him with all these different bits because of things that have happened off screen or off screen. Just too close.
Yeah.
You want it.
You want it.
I actually don't, because it if anything's gonna break like timeline or canon, like having him there didn't make sense.
Right.
He has I see another angle of it, and he has a purple light on one side that R2 definitely didn't have.
No, it was always red and blue, and that's what I saw when I was watching, because I was looking, I'm standing up against the damn screen, and I'm like, nope, that's.
There's a scene where.
Night, Alan.
Oh, good night, Alan. I'm sure it's not him. I get it. I'm just clarifying that it's not him. The whole
I agree with you. But yeah, they probably should have done a different head or made them all red or something like that, just to make it so people don't do that. But they love this stuff. They love us to be like, oh, is that R2? And debate about it. You know, it just gets people going back to watch it again, like I just did. So
sure, yeah.
So why not do that to make people talk about it, right? Because it could easily be said, no, it's just another R2 unit.
Yep. Yeah,
that's 10 minutes. Yeah, exactly. That's right. That's why they do it. Yeah.
Well, so I noticed in the intro of the show, right? You get the new Star Wars intro with the light that goes over the different characters, right? And in the beginning of this one, there were like 4 droids in a row, and then it ended with Vader. Right? Kylo was in there, but there were a couple droids in the beginning that hadn't been in any of the other previous Star Wars intros. So now my head is like, all right, well, droids, like, look at the last episode, like, droids are going to be a thing. So then I'm like, there's no way. Like, that was done intentionally. It just, I don't know.
Unless it's trying to show how robotic Vader actually is. Like, they're trying to make the point of, like, he's barely human.
Right, more machine than man. Like, there was something there, right? And the droid that he couldn't talk, and he's stupid, and they're meant not to respond, but you can obviously tell they have feelings, and like there's a lot going on with the whole droid human thing. Even the intro where they're both in the back of tanks, right? And you're going down Obi's scarred arm, and you get to Vader's scarred arm, and you get to the cutoff but then a flash and you're looking at Obi's right hand. Like it was really cool, the parallel between the two of them. So now I'm like looking deeper into the damn thing, like shit. And the reason, like the way that they have that screen, and there's this R2 unit right off to the side, and they change angle, and he's right in the center of the screen. So like you're looking at this red and blue light in the background, like everything's done intentionally, right? Nothing, even the little markings inside the pathway. What's it called?
Yeah, the pathway, I think.
Yeah, the path.
Those markings they're all intentional. There's nothing there like they handed somebody a chisel and said, go mark something on a wall. Like everything is intentional.
People have translated them. There's characters from books and legends that are written on there. And the one with Quinlan Voss says something like, only when your eyes are closed can you truly see. Something like that.
Right.
Like it all has meaning. Yeah.
Right. So there's a reason for everything. So the camera angle is the placement, the stuff that's on screen that your eye is drawn to is all there for a reason. So I didn't understand why they would put R2 in that place, especially
for the last 15 minutes.
Well, without Ben saying something, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he doesn't remember ever owning a droid.
He never owned a droid.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
that's what he says in episode 4, right? So.
Right. He had the Starfighter one, right? What was it? Not R5.
R6?
R4? Whatever was in the Starfighter when he went to Geonosis.
Yeah.
Anyway,
he just had whatever droid they stuck in a ship.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't count that as ownership. Came with the spaceship.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. That's a deep cut. The one guy running in the background of Bespin is holding the Camtono thing.
Oh
yeah. That's his name. Wilrow Hood. Where's that guy?
Yeah, that's true.
So anyway, episode 4, he gets all messed up and stuff. I thought that was kind of neat, thinking that, the old Obi-Wan and A New Hope would still have scars, but you never see it. So
you never see it. Yeah.
Yeah. I just love that idea that it's there now. And it never was before. It was almost, but now in my head, when I watch episode 4, he's going to have those under his arm. And it's going to make me wonder, like, does he ever do this? I think he actually does this, like, while talking. So it just makes me want to put that together, even though I know it's not a thing. I want to have him, like, when he starts thinking about him, he's subconsciously kind of touching I want that to be a thing. So.
Yep. I like that they gave the little nod to his knock that chased the stormtroopers out when he was on the Death Star.
Oh yeah,
he did the little thing. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
it's really good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really good.
Very happy with it so far.
Yeah, 2 more episodes. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I know.
But I did see something, and it could just be clickbait. I didn't go in to read it, but the thing was they greenlit for Obi 2 for a second season.
I heard that. Yeah.
I don't know if it's official because I just looked before, like after watching episode 4, and I haven't seen anything coming out of like Star Wars that said yes, there's a season 2.
It could have been a Star Wars celebration, and people were told not to say anything, and it trickled out that something happened.
I don't know. It seemed to come from other websites. I'm not sure how reliable. Like,
sure.
I would wait.
So, but just like Ahsoka series, right, is being speculated to be the whole Rebels live action because they've cast all the Sabines in it now, and like it's.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just rumor right now.
Michael's laughing at your straw.
Was it in the way again? I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, it was.
I used to have plastic bendy straws, but I was throwing them out, and then this isn't like a water bottle, so I use the same straw.
That makes sense that you use something reusable if you're going to use it every week.
But I'm going to make sure that it's always in the way now.
No, please don't. It drives me crazy.
All right, guys. Well,
I'm just gonna do it for
I
Mike.
got to wrap it up.
All right.
Not Obi-Wan enough. Not that
Cool.
there's ever enough, but
Well, I'm excited for Wednesday already.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, also, and I know you guys haven't watched this, but I am almost equally. I'll say I'm equally excited every Thursday for Strange New Worlds. It's a Star Trek show and stuff, and I would say that if I were to ever introduce someone to Star Trek, this is the series I would want to show them first because it's up to date, it's exciting, it's interesting, it keeps you, if you watch the old series and stuff, it's got that 60s like long drawn out things that a lot of people don't have patience for and stuff like that.
Right.
But I am like on the same level of excitement for Obi-Wan as I am for this. So if you do ever want to try to, I think the first episode is free on YouTube. You should check it out.
Yeah, I have yet to watch anything Star Trek. I'm okay with it.
You might like it. You might really like it.
I don't know why at this point it's like I'm just like it's out of spite. I don't know. It's like I'm gonna stick to it.
That's your own nose. It's up to you.
I've liked some. I remember the old series. I like the movies. The new movies are fine. I think the closest thing I got to really being a fan of anything Star Trek was the Orville.
Well, the new season for that has come out too. So
yeah,
we're rewatching the second season of that right now. Actually,
nice.
Yeah, Orville is actually surprisingly pretty good.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be just comedy, but he snuck in like actual story and like meaningful episodes and stuff in there. So,
yep.
Oh yeah, have you guys watched Miss Marvel yet?
No.
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe next time we'll talk about that if you can catch up to that because it was fun. It was enjoyable. I mean, it definitely wasn't like Falcon and Winter Soldier kind of production and stuff, but it's fun on a different level as far as Marvel goes. It's interesting.
I did watch all of the Stranger Things.
I need to watch that.
Oh yes,
Yes.
Stranger Things was amazing. We binged it. It was so good.
You remember how I had said I don't know if I'll watch it because I'm kind of over it and it feels samey and stuff. And then I watched that season. I'm like, this is the best one.
So far, it's been it blew season 3 away for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was kind of on the out. Like I know season 3, felt like repetitive and stuff, but or like it just felt like okay, like they could have ended the show, but that one is it's the best. Did you watch?
No.
So, on that note, though, more importantly, Third World Studios on Netflix has Chicken Hair and the Hamster of Darkness, which is on the publication based on the publication from them of Chicken Hair by Chris Grine. Episode 1, House of Klaus, is fantastic. I think I've said this on the show before. Banjo is he slowly creeped into like one of my favorite characters in a book. And on Netflix, the movie is based on.
Oh, I saw this the other. Well, I just saw the thing come up, and I was like, "What is that?"
Yeah. Huh. So I don't know what Mike. You can put it in the chat. I don't know what the more recent thing is. But it was number 1, Children, number 6 on Netflix over the weekend.
Yeah, it looks really good. I got to watch that now that I'm home.
I saw some clips from before it was out, and it's well acted. It's well written. The scenes were really cool. Haven't had time because I've been in Origins, but it's on the to-do list. So maybe by next week we can talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I watched
all right,
everything.
Well, it was fun. Next week we are going to do like a birthday bash kind of thing, right?
Yes.
So we need to plan it. Yeah, we got to plan it. But we're going to celebrate my birthday and both of your birthdays and Matt's birthday too. Celebrate Matt's birthday.
Yep.
Happy birthday, Matt. It's crazy that both of you have the same day as a birthday. Yeah. And I'm only 4 days away from you. So
yeah, we're 4 days apart. And Matt's today, so Matt's not far apart either.
Yeah, so many birthdays.
All the birthdays. We celebrate all the birthdays.
All of them within what is it? 4 or 5 days? 4 days?
Yeah. Well, Matt's today. Chris is the 15th. We're the 19th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Monday we're still planning it. We know Andrew. I believe Andrew will be on the show. We still have a couple others.
I have a stupid game I'm thinking of trying, so we'll see if that works or not.
All right.
It may just be a stupid game, and nobody will want to do it, but we'll see. It works best with a lot of people, so we'll see how it works.
Okay.
It work, and we should probably. We should play Andrew's game.
Yeah, no, 100% we should.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, cool. Cool.
I think next week we'll delay Obi Wan because we'll have so much going on, and I think
there'll be some people that haven't caught up too. Yeah,
and then we'll talk about episodes 5 and the finale in 2 weeks.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah,
and maybe by then you'll be caught up with Miss Marvel and see what you think of that.
Sure.
It's only been one episode so far, so.
Yeah.
Also, Stranger Things. Do you need us to make a list or something?
No, I have a list.
You can take some vacation time, right, to catch up.
Well, we should. Yeah, we should. We should arrange that so he can catch up.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, like and subscribe. Keep us over 200, please.
Yes. Whoever left.
Yeah. One person.
I thought that was really funny when you're like, who unsubscribes? I don't know.
One person unsubscribed for the first time. I was like, I didn't know anybody even bothered to do that.
They're probably taking us going live every week.
I know I have a bunch of stuff I'm subscribed to, and it just, you scroll through it to get to the channel you want. I don't really care what
There's some people that really take care to they say, oh, I'm going through my friends list and I'm cutting this down. Maybe they do the same thing with their subscription on YouTube's. I don't know. I don't ever pay attention to it.
Oh, Kabuki Kid says that we're at 201. There you go. We gained 2. Lost 1, but gained 2.
No, we were at 202 and it went down to 201.
Oh, I thought we went down from 200 to 199. Okay.
Oh, no, we didn't break the 200, thankfully.
No, not yet.
Now that you say that, some joker is going to unsubscribe.
Probably Dan. If Dan's still watching, Dan would do it.
Yeah. Either way, please like and subscribe. Just for
probably Jason. We'll blame Jason for it.
Sure.
He's probably unsubscribing just because we keep calling him out for being a bad influence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see everybody next week.
Yeah. Thanks for watching and hanging out with us and talking about Star Wars and Origins and all that. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Bye, everybody. Discord's in the link. If you want to join us on Discord, are you guys going to Discord? I'm not going to be able to make it after the show, but are you guys going to?
I could go on it. Yeah.
We'll go pop over for a bit. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go talk about Star Wars and stuff on Discord.
Thanks for hanging out.
Bye, guys.
Bye.